you doing? You taking away my drums, you scumbag.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Collider Live. It's Tuesday, the 13th of something, August of 2019 of something. So welcome back to the show here, ladies and gentlemen. And same crew as yesterday. I'm digging it. I like it. Joining us on the table, Mr. Mark Reilly.
Hi.
Mr. Winston Marshall.
What up?
Ms.
Roxy Striar.
Nay!
And that's why I saved you for last.
Yeah.
Cody Hall.
Nay!
Alex, the Alexes of Alex. And we are doing it live for you guys on Collider. How about that? That's how we do it. Lots of things going on last night. And don't worry, but I would worry tomorrow. But today you don't have to worry because only one of us has watched the full episode of Bachelor in Paradise last night. All I will tell you is that I have quickly changed my opinion on Blake, starting to believe everybody.
He's trash.
He's not great, and he's doing stupid dances. And the dances,
There's more than. I didn't see it, but
he's doing
the
stupid
guy's,
dances.
of course, he's a fucking idiot.
I don't know. I just don't like his dances, and his
They
dances
suck.
are starting to turn me into a look. Maybe he is a douche because he's doing these stupid things with his
He's
body.
trash.
Stop that.
He's trash.
You think based on his dancing, he's
It's a douchey
trash?
dance.
He thinks he's a 22-year-old black kid. He's a 30-year-old white dude that has no game. So
Yeah,
like he looks.
Why do you say he thinks he's black?
Well, just all he's trying to hit all like the hot like everything. He's trying to like just he looks ridiculous. That's all.
They do this opening that it's like an old school '80s, like almost Three's Company opening.
It's the worst thing in the world.
It's the worst, but it
and the best.
You know what it is? That's the thing, though. When they started doing it, the first time I ever saw the show, I said
All the cast members are doing
they
it?
all do it. They film it like it's like Three's Company, and I remember when it first popped up, I said I hate this, and now I like get used to it because it's so stupid, right? And they have him, and he shows up and he does this stupid thing. I'm like, dude, you are not winning me over with this stupid dance. Stop
you only
doing
got
this dumb
halfway
dance.
through because he starts dancing and
Again?
it causes more drama. At
Oh,
the
the
end.
dancing causes drama?
Yeah.
I could see why. It's a dumb dance.
Oh, because he dances with someone in particular. I don't want to ruin anything, but I just want to say I was going through the comments from yesterday's show, and hella people were like, "Man, fuck it, I guess I just gotta watch."
That's
Bachelor
what I'm
in
saying.
Paradise."
So many
I was
people
so
hit us up,
Someone
right?
said to me last
They're
night.
watching
Yeah.
half of it, and they're like, "I'm giving it a shot. I'm giving it a shot."
Someone said to me last night, they go, look, I hated everything about what this show was, but
Yeah.
you sold it well, and damn you, I'm hooked on
I know
it
exactly.
now.
One dude was straight up just like, "Yo, I sat there with my girlfriend. We just laughed the whole time.
That's
we
what
haven't
I'm
laughed
saying.
that hard together in a long time."
Yeah.
And I was like, "This
That's what I
brings
mean.
two people together."
I want to do something to where everybody, we do almost like a watch along where we do it together, and like every time he does this stupid thing, you go, dumb dance! It's the worst.
Works for me.
Roxy, it's so bad.
I will get on it. You know I will.
You better hurry.
But I keep hoping that when you dance like that, it will get that weird thing off your shoulder. But it's, I don't know.
Can we?
I was hoping
I wonder if
so
you can even bring up that dumb dance. Can you bring up that dumb dance? Just do
on their website.
dumb dance. Put up
on their website
Yeah.
they do the
They have
intro.
the opening.
They have
All
the
right,
opening.
Bring up the opening of the just to
watch
see,
that.
just to see the stupid dance. Who dances like this on TV and says, "Oh yeah, I look cool"?
Well, my
'Cause he's trying to
favorite-
pitch himself as like the cool guy.
No, I get it, but my favorite is Sydney because she's an NBA dancer. So like he starts off with his dumb shit, and then she does an actual like drop split, like whatever, and I'm like, so that's how you dance? Like
Right.
that's
what I'm saying. So
like, that's actual talent.
Yeah. So what do they go to, Winston? Bachelor in Paradise, the
yeah,
website.
the website, and like they should have like little videos, including the intro.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. So yeah, just want just the intro. That's all we got to see is the intro.
Go down
keep
the clips.
Latest clips.
Yeah, and then
There it is, right there. It's the thing that says Dylan. Go down one. Go down one.
Dylan
right
at the
there.
bottom.
Yeah. Go to the stupid thing.
He's cute.
He's a nice guy.
He's the one getting played right now.
That poor guy.
He's a poor bastard. He really is.
He really is.
All right, so open this up and Roxy, watch this dumb dance. And you got to tell Roxy. You tell me honestly if you think I'm being, overcritical or if it's a dumb dance. What do you think she's going to say? You think
But
she's going to
Dylan's
say?
not the dumb dancer.
No,
what?
Blake is. Do you think that Blake's going to say? Do you think Rachel? Who's Rachel?
That's Roxy.
You think that Roxy is going to say dumb dance, or she's going to go, it's cute?
She's gonna be okay with it.
Okay.
I don't know about.
All right,
cute,
Winston, what do you
but-
think? You think she's going to think it's a dumb dance, or you think she's going to think it's cute?
good
Now
question.
remember, she usually always disagrees with me.
That's not true. We agree
See?
more than we
You just-
disagree.
Right now, you're disagreeing.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's
that was
true.
true.
I'm
Here we
gonna
go.
split
All right, here
the
we go.
difference and
Listen,
say she doesn't
I
care.
watch this.
Oh God. Oh God. I mean,
It's-
get
it's-
ready.
It's a horrendous
It's-
opening.
this
but
is
but
the
it-
worst.
But it works. There it is.
Look at that.
Come on. Roxy? Go back
Go
once.
back,
Go
go
back.
back.
Go back.
That
He
one
starts-
pisses me off
he
too.
starts-
I can't do it.
I don't
I
have to
can't
watch
do
it.
it.
Here it
I
comes.
love
Here it comes.
her,
Look,
but
look, look.
this whatever the hell that is.
I think I mean, it's not like attractive, but I'm not mad at it.
Well, because you know what it is also? I think because you don't have a context of his character.
Well, I think also because like
gives you context.
he seems really goofy. Like
But he's trying to pitch it. But he's supposed to be like the cool player guy.
but so he's not a goofy dude.
No,
That's
he's
the
not
problem.
goofy.
He's both. He's like a goofy dude that wants to be a player
That
and
thinks he has game.
is actually doing it, but very poorly.
Yeah.
So you guys wouldn't be bothered by that if he was the goof troop on
I
the
think,
show.
like, if he was John
Yes.
Paul Jones.
If he
John
was
Paul
John-
Jones is killing it. There he is. He's killing it. John Paul Jones is killing it.
John Paul Jones is the man.
John Paul Jones is
Demi,
the
too.
man. Look at him.
Yeah.
Demi's
Look at
so
him.
cute.
See? No, the best.
He's killing it. He's the best. If you guys don't understand what John Paul Jones is doing on television right now.
The fact, I know we said we were going to do this. Did you make it to the first person to come down, though? If you got halfway through?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's his name?
Jordan.
Jordan's back.
Dude, Jordan and Demi, this is about to be the greatest.
Oh, Jordan's great. Jordan is a character.
2 hours.
Are you gonna lose your
of
mind when Jordan comes
television.
in?
Oh my god,
It's good.
Yeah, I saw the
No,
coming
keep going.
next week.
I'm looking
and-
at other people. She's the hottest.
She's
so
not
hot.
ugly. Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Tasha's the one that he was texting with, right?
No,
No,
Tasha
he
was the
took
one.
her on a
He
date.
took her on a date.
He took her on a date.
And
He was
Blake, I'm
texting.
talking about.
Blake was
Yes,
texting
yes.
Hannah.
Yeah.
And
That's the one that she
had
he was
sex with her, the one that spilled the tea.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one that spilled the tea.
No, that
And
was
then her.
the-
That was the
and
one
then
that caused all the
was
drama.
That was the one that he also had sex with at Stagecoach.
I don't
Yeah.
like Caitlyn as much.
This
No,
poor
she's
girl.
Bibiani?
Bibiana. And she was hot. I'm not a big fan of Will's. And this.
I don't like Annalise as much.
Yo, you made it halfway through, so
Yeah,
you know
Jane's
about
cool.
that though, right?
What's that?
About Annalise though?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
She's- I
No,
think that when
no, Nicole.
Yeah, right? It's the worst.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I'm
well,
t-
it's all
I'm t-
bad.
this-
It's all
This
just-
guy's been on the show for 75 years. He's been on the show so many times. He was on the show when I was producing.
Wow.
He was.
So you remember it?
Oh yeah.
Why
He looks,
is
you know
he-
what he looks like? Bring up Squidward from
Why
from
does
SpongeBob.
Why does Wells get and Wells?
Because Wells was a contestant on the show all the time. And they made him the bartender.
Right.
He comes back and he's like the bartender now.
Oh,
on the
And
because
show.
he's the
not
guy that
dating
you get
anybody.
you
No,
get
he's-
like
he's just
advice
like-
from him.
He's
Yeah.
actually engaged to what's her name from Modern Family, the oldest daughter.
Oh, it's her.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
look at
yeah,
their
yeah,
pictures
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
See? Now you're gonna watch
Now
the
you have to
show.
watch
Yo,
the show.
Sarah Hyland.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
they have the cutest
Yeah,
engagement
all right.
photos.
Can you guys go bring up Squidward from SpongeBob?
That's Wells,
Yeah,
yo.
yeah.
That's Wells. So look. That's it reminds me of Chris, doesn't it? bring up that picture. The one on the
The guy
far
that's
right,
been on
please,
there
Cody. Or whoever
for
else.
7 years or however many
Yeah,
times.
Look at him. And
Yeah, I can see it.
you see what I'm saying?
Damn.
He reminds. That's what I said. That's what I said when I was working.
Squidward.
there. I put a picture over the office and I said it's Squidward.
Oh my
So
god.
if he's been on for 7
Squidward,
years or
sorry.
however many times, why do you keep putting him back on? He doesn't seem very popular. He seems like he disappears in the background.
He wasn't though. He was
Yeah.
he was like one of the final four during
Ah.
Emily's season, and he thought he was a good guy. Then he turned out to be kind of a douche on the loose, and then he came back a couple different times, a douche on the loose. The douche is loose. And then he's just said that he's found found the error in his ways, and now he's like the old dog.
Sure.
So,
He's been chill so far.
He's been
but-
fine so
Yeah.
far.
But does he hook up with girls or no?
I don't think anymore. I think he's like again. I think he's actually legit going there to try to find somebody. So we'll
Wow.
find out. I'm telling Roxy, you start watching the show. I'm telling
Oh,
you.
I'm sure I'm gonna love
You're
it.
gonna be hooked.
I loved Bachelor back in the day.
Yeah, but fuck Bachelor. Fuck Bachelor.
But I like that.
Yeah.
So if I like that, obviously I like this.
Yes, 100%. But this
And
is.
I
Well,
love
you know what?
Spouse House. I love 90 Day Fiance.
Well, but
you
like,
seen
you
Big
watched
Brother?
the challenge, don't you? Or you did?
I can't even get to what you just said.
Well,
Oh yeah.
Roxy.
Is this your new? Is this
care about me
is
at
this
all?
your new
You're
thing?
so
This
upset.
horse?
I love this horse.
Yeah, I think that
A horse
Bibiani
of
got
a
that.
different color.
Bibiani got that horse. This is just proving that Bibiani is mankind from WWE when
Yeah.
it comes to Schmoedown because like.
Because he has 1 ear.
Well, I wanted to make him when he first came. I didn't know him well enough. I wanted to make him like the really kind of crazy, intimidating character. He came out in the Saw outfit, the prison outfit, and
Yeah.
Hannibal.
Hannibal
and
Lecter.
he was intimidating, right? But I forgot like how he's really a silly human being.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He really is. And when he had him join the Horsemen, he somehow convinced. I don't know how he did it. Roka and Nost and somebody else to ride out on these fucking horses when they were horsemen. It looked so stupid.
I love
It gave me ammo for my match with Roka.
It was so stupid, and it looked
Yeah.
so dumb.
You
And
know
saw
who could rock
Roka-
this horse?
Who?
Snyder, Odd Couple,
Yes.
baby.
100%. But
Yes.
Roka with the hat on, trying to be cool, like riding around the horse. It was I was like, who in the world approved that? Because it was so dumb. But
And you didn't approve it?
I didn't. They came walking out riding around these stupid horses. But it really showed me, well, that's who Bibbiani is, and that's what Bibbiani can do. And now Bibbiani's character in the Shmurda is so much more goofy. He's fit into his role. And
Did you see his tweet? I don't mean to call out Bibbiani,
What did he do? About what?
But he said Caddyshack 2 is better than Caddyshack.
He was starting to remind me of the.
How is that
he just,
possible?
He's got a very different take on movies. He's always the guy that.
Bibbiani, I love you, but that is a.
That
is
a take.
You have to respect it.
I respect
of course.
the take. I sometimes wonder.
I just am like
he just watches movies very differently than the rest of us.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
so
I
do
think
I.
that's probably why he is able to keep all that information the way he is, because
Easily.
he just sees it completely differently.
He watches movies very.
That makes a lot of
He watches
sense.
a lot of obscure movies that none of us would be able to sit through, and he
Caddyshack
loves
2?
them.
Yeah,
I've heard Gremlins 2 over Gremlins, and I
Caddyshack
can
2.
like sit there and go, okay, I can get and see your point.
Caddyshack 2 is arguably one of the worst movies of all time.
So
There's no
better
name-
than
there's no-
Bibbiani,
Maybe he
I
didn't
love
like
you, man.
Caddyshack.
But
What do you
it's
think all
not
these
necessary.
little loops are for?
to make sure Roka doesn't fall off of
yeah.
him.
Oh, we don't want him to hurt himself.
Yeah. Well, he gets hurt very
Again.
easily. Very easily.
That was the joke.
I feel like there's only been like 4 sequels that have been like completely
Shit.
better than the original.
Well, yeah.
Empire, Godfather 2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
Dark Knight.
Godfather 2 is
Spider-Man 2?
universally. Are you saying everybody thinks this?
In his opinion.
In my
In your-
opinion,
your
in my
opinion.
opinion, but I feel like
and you
kind
can
of
hear it. You can hear a lot of
universally
people say
accepted.
that.
kind of universally
Yes.
accepted.
I
but-
don't think it's universally accepted that Godfather 2
I don't
is
know.
better,
Better than
the
the
first one.
original?
I would say it's 50-50.
Really?
Yeah, I would say it's very split.
Even so, it's more so than you know the majority of people saying one. It's
That's fair.
it's
Let's
a
put
close
up a
enough argument.
poll.
And then
What's
the
better, Godfather or
Two,
Godfather
or-
2?
yeah.
Put that up. And then the last one is Rush Hour 2. Though Rush Hour is fucking incredible. I actually consider them one movie, to be honest
Okay.
with you, because they take you start the second one and it's been like a day.
See, some would say
Man.
Toy Story 2 also. And Toy Story 3.
Then the
John
original
Wick.
Toy Story.
Some people say Toy Story 3, definitely.
I'm not saying it.
I guess John Wick. Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but a lot of people
Though
thought
3 is better than both
3
of
was
them.
my favorite as well.
3 is incredible.
Actually, maybe 1. I don't know. I go back and forth.
I go 1, 3, 2 for John Wick.
I thought I went 3, 1, 2,
Yeah.
but I think I go 1, 3, 2.
Now, Lord of the Rings count? As far as
Yeah, why
towers?
not? Why not?
But I also meant, now that I think about it, I meant like direct sequel, because I understand it's trilogies, but I meant like direct sequel, like the second one, not necessarily.
Yeah, the second
Yeah.
one, two towers. Is
I mean, your
second
first
one.
thing you named, though,
I
was
know
Star
that.
Wars.
No, yeah, exactly. But I didn't bring up Return of the Jedi. I was just saying that Empire was better than the New Hope.
Oh, you're
That's
saying
all.
two-
Just
two
the
better
second.
than
Second
three.
is
Better
because
than
the
one.
third Rush Hour is trash.
Right.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened to cinema. I just.
Never? Never seen Freddy got fingered.
Yes, I have.
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Loving like you never needed love before. Wanna
The
make
only thing worse than that is
love
Spice
you,
World.
baby.
What are you doing over there?
Singing Spice Girls, and that's why I thought of Spice World, man.
I literally traveled out to my body. Like Roxy's doing something. You guys are having a conversation. I'm like, what the fuck is
I
going
was
on?
background
right
music.
It's great for audio listeners. I got to tell
Yep. Oh, they're gonna be. You know that button you press where you skip 15 seconds. That's
Yeah,
what
you.
happened.
That's what it is.
I can explain it if you guys want.
No, we're cool. If we moving on. What's the hell? 10, 15. We saw movies last night.
Yeah, we did.
We saw movies last night. We're going to talk
Bitches.
about the movies we saw. We have Louis Tan coming in to talk about Wu Assassin.
I saw the first episode.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk. We'll be able to talk to Louis about that. He's coming in. That dropped on August 8th. It's on Netflix. We'll talk to Louis. What time does he come in? 11:30 or 11?
10:30.
Well, 10:30. Look at that.
Yeah, we got 15
10:30.
minutes.
So we have 15 minutes before he comes in. So we can talk about the movies that we saw last night real quick. We'll talk to Louis. Don't worry, strictly about Bachelor in Paradise. So you saw Blinded by the Light. Is
did.
there an embargo on that yet?
No.
What did you think?
I don't think there's embargo, at least, because I already talked about it. So
Well, here we go.
hopefully- Yep.
Okay.
I
That doesn't
thought.
necessarily mean that you didn't break embargo, but let's do it again.
I saw there's like already 80 scores on Rotten Tomatoes because this was a festival movie, so
see.
I think
So,
that
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome.
Okay.
But I could see somebody not liking it. So I personally really loved this. I don't know if the rest of my theater loved it as much as I did.
I'm
but
a
it
Bruce
does have,
Springsteen nut job.
Me too. So
Would I
here's-
like it because of that?
You know my Bruce background or no?
Yeah,
I
I know.
But yes, I think definitely because I think they utilize the music better than something like a Yesterday did, where we actually get to hear
And that was
through
an
a
issue.
little
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
But still, I think they could have done more with that. And also, you're going to have an issue with some of the timeline stuff.
Oh.
I don't know why they made two of the choices they made.
Okay.
But they did, and that's fine.
Well, it got a what, a 5-minute standing ovation at Sundance, didn't it? Something
Is that
like
true?
So that's how they're advertising it.
Okay.
So it's weird. It's weird. Like in the, you know who I don't think would like it is Makuga.
Why?
Because it is a breakout. It's not always a breakout into song and dance movie, but
it happens.
But it does happen.
Yeah, he's got to be prepped.
And
Probably
so,
won't like it. Yeah.
so this is more. I would consider this more of a musical than Yesterday.
Oh, okay. But you recommend it to most.
I definitely recommend this. I thought it was great. So the way that I'm pitching it is, to me, it's a movie about obsession. When stuff is going on in your life and you channel that all into, you become completely obsessed with
Like
one
Bachelor
thing.
in Paradise, right?
Something like that. Seriously though, like when no matter what it is, like you pick that one thing. I've had that a million times in my life. I don't know about you guys, where it's like a movie, an artist, whatever, and anything going on in your life, it's just obsessed with this one thing, and so they're speaking to you. You're everything that you're thinking, you're hearing through that. And so this is a movie about obsession and an obsession with Bruce Springsteen.
I definitely want to see it. I think it's a movie that's got some nice buzz around it. And I remember when Dorina brought it up like 4 months ago. So I'm excited to see that, and Roxy seemed to really like it. I'm going to talk to you guys about The Boys, which I saw last night. But no, we're done.
No, just The Boys is not what you're talking about.
Good Boys.
I was
Good
like,
Boys.
the show?
No, Good Boys. I will talk about that in a second. But I had a critic yesterday about someone who challenged me on my airplane bathroom story.
I saw about the doors always slide closed.
The guy's like, I happen to travel all the time. And when I travel, the doors, they close.
So
all the time.
He's calling you a liar.
So Kristian, his stories, he exaggerates just as much as Roxy does. Just as much. And I think it's a pure exaggeration.
I don't know.
Pure exaggeration.
And I said, well, motherfucker, you weren't on the plane I was on, because motherfuckers were walking into that thing, leaving it, and maybe the door was busted because that door was open, and the poor bastard that I kept saying to people, shut the door, and the guy right behind me got probably tired of me saying it, so he would get up every single time and go and closing it. So
I
it's
will
just
never
like, who
understand
exaggerates about that?
commenters like this. Yeah, okay. This is the thing that I deal with in my entire life. Do I exaggerate about some things?
Yes.
Do you exaggerate about some things? We're storytellers. So instead of something being smells bad, it's the worst smell you've ever
had.
smelled.
And it was, though.
So that kind of thing. But you don't just lie. You
smell.
don't just make
that's a
up.
full-on
Yeah,
lie.
that's a full-on lie.
Worst
You
smell.
don't just say like the
Worst
door stayed
smell.
open when
Right.
it didn't stay open.
Yeah, and I said
that's not an exaggeration. That would be a lie.
because I wrote back, and I was like, no, it's the flight that I was on. It was American, and it just was. He's like, oh, well, that's never happened to me.
Like,
Yeah,
why
it
would
never
you
happened to
make
me
that up?
before this time either. It sucks.
And
it
you're not
stinks.
claiming it happened to him.
No.
You're saying it happened to you.
I caught that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it
The
was
stinks pun. I got it too.
Yeah, thank you so much. 5 minutes afterwards, but it was
stupid.
It was. I actually got,
just so
but I got a kick out of it though, because I just like,
I know you did, but
and of all the things you could have commented about, wait a minute, I need to challenge this one.
I
The
know.
door must have been closed. I promised it was closed.
So what are you talking about? That's the thing. Where out of all the stuff that we talked about yesterday, which other stuff, and I have to say, for the most part, because we went into it pretty heavy yesterday on politics and everything too, which we normally don't do. For the most part, the comment section yesterday was
pretty decent.
It was pretty decent.
I agree.
And it was, and there were people that. And I saw it that were not agreeing with things that I had said yesterday, but they said, "Look, here's the thing, and this is what I don't think you're seeing on this side." And I was like, "Man, where's that?
More of that.
Yeah.
Because this was someone on a completely different point that I was making, completely different, and said, well, and I didn't agree with anything he said, or her. I'm not sure,
But they said it politely,
it was a
respectfully.
discussion,
Yeah,
as
I know.
opposed to
That bathroom door was closed. I know it was.
Kristian, I was shocked by that. I went and
I
saw
love that
those,
you
and I was
took
like,
them.
what? But I will say, and I won't name who this he or her was, but there were some critics online yesterday that I thought the way that they were talking about the situation was
which situation about
pulling the movie.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what led us into the political discussion.
Yeah.
Don't tell us who the critics
I'm
are.
not
What
gonna
were,
tell you.
what were they saying?
Basically, like,
I saw one.
if you don't think that this movie should be pulled, then admit that you're not the best human who wants the best for society, essentially.
I
and
saw
I was
that.
like, I was like,
I know.
It's nonsense.
whoa.
Yeah.
That's-
Whoa.
There
It
was
was
a
a-
very different argument that I think people are making, because one of the things that was said was the reason why it was pulled was because they think there's another person I thought who made a very good point that said they don't think movies like The Purge and Hunger Games and movies like that in general should be released. This is what this person's opinion was.
Which is your prerogative to feel.
100%.
Yeah.
And they said that they don't think these movies should be made because it doesn't, in the same way that maybe like where horror fans will be defensive, because I don't necessarily love when serial killers are glorified and put in movies. I think it's the right of people to do it. I don't understand why people get so excited about seeing them, but it's not me watching.
Or on the cover of Rolling Stone or whatever it is. I have issues
but
with
I
that
think
as
that's
well.
what Natural Born Killers was about that people don't really understand. It was the glorification of what we do in
They become
society.
celebrities.
Yeah.
But I would also make the argument that like there are certain things that genuinely don't need to be like put out because it literally is just like just porn for like gore or gore porn.
Torture porn.
I really didn't
Porn
like
for gore.
There you
Torture
go.
porn.
I really hated the movie Detroit. Like honestly, because I
never saw it,
because
That's
it,
the Catherine Bigelow
Really?
one?
yes,
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was, the perspective was completely wrong. It was not. It should not. It ended up following more because it was supposed to be about like these black men that were tortured by the cops in this hotel and everything. And they really kind of follow these two white women that were there that happened to be hanging out with one of the black guys the whole time, and their perspective of watching these dudes get tortured. They completely ignored. They did like a very quick homage to the riots that were happening in Detroit beforehand, but didn't actually get into any of that. And so it just
False advertising?
Yeah, and so it really just became, which we know Catherine Bigelow loves to do, a lot of like that physical, like violent, like bloody, like I mean the Hurt Locker, all that kind of stuff. Point Break, exactly. So like, it really just became this egregious, like it traumatized me to just watch these cops torture the fuck out of these black dudes for 2 hours. So like that's a difference versus
She was going. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Did you see the movie?
I didn't see it. So what I'm saying is, because I didn't see it, do you think that maybe that's what she was going for, to make you feel uncomfortable, like that particular thing, to show it, but it wasn't sold that way?
It doesn't even help at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I think then the flip side of it is I don't see anything wrong with doing like Most Dangerous Game, any type of stuff, the hunt, all that kind of stuff, because you're not necessarily glorifying the hunting and the actual like torture of someone being ripped the fuck apart. It's just like you're going into a discussion about what is it to like XYZ, but this really just felt like she was enjoying putting this score on the screen.
That's interesting, yeah, because I enjoyed the movie, but hearing your take on it is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
It's because and I can kind of see where you're coming from. I think it was, but your question, posing the question. I think that's what she was going for. That's the way I took it, and for it to land differently with you. Makes me go, oh shit!
I also think, obviously, you guys watch the movies, this particular movie, very differently.
Absolutely.
I guess the flip side is when you're literally seeing cops do that shit on the news every fucking day. I don't need to watch 2 hours of it on top of that because what message does that send?
Yeah,
it's completely different if maybe you're going into, if you really get into those riots and then that happens. That anchors you in a completely different way.
And I agree. And I think the other thing, though, that could be said about that is that what she was trying to do, again, I have not seen the movie, but what she was trying to do is to say this was what happened back then, and this shit's still going on. Right. So, like, to make you, like, the fact that, like you said, you don't want to, you see it every day on the news, and you don't want to watch this. Her point is probably, it's still happening. So you should be aware of it.
I guess the big difference, and I get it in that it was an 8-hour docuseries instead, as When They See Us did a much better job of that.
Right.
Because then it's like, this is what these kids not only were really up to, how the cops treated them, how the justice system treated them, and then how like the actual prison and life after did. And I get that that's way more time you have to work with that, but you gave us an opportunity to see the whole picture instead of a tiny little.
That makes sense.
Also, Ava DuVernay dedicated like 8 years of her life into
Also
doing
true.
research and all of that on this.
Also
But
true.
the point that I was trying to make initially, though, although I agree with all the things that are going on at the table right now, is that I don't love tweeting out saying that if you have a different opinion than me, admit that you are not looking out for the best interest of the world or yourself, not a great human. Like, that's again, I'm misquoting, but that was the essential. I don't get that. I don't
know. I got to see the actual quote itself.
I know what you're talking about because I saw it. It's the arrogance of the internet.
It shook me a little bit because I was like, wow, honestly, I'm not exactly sure where I stand on this still. I know, Kristian, you don't think that the movie should have been pulled.
Yeah.
I don't think that I think it should have, but I still don't know exactly how I feel. Which I'm allowed to feel, by the way, guys.
It is, but
I'm like in between, kind of, and I'm like, I get this, I get that. But just because you have that feeling, what is that?
I just think it's dangerous to say, like, it's one thing. Look, the movie could be terrible. The movie could be inappropriate. The movie could be something that I seem like, oh, that shouldn't have been made.
But you mean as a blanket statement,
I'm just saying
bad.
that once the studio makes the movie, the marketing's on the movie, and to be pulled from political pressure, like that's a tough thing for art. It's just a tough thing for art. Now, the movie there are movies out there that I think are just that are inappropriate and that shouldn't be out there in general, but they get made. And if they've gotten made, You can go look. Either people want to see this movie, or no, the movie could have come out and it bombed because nobody wanted to see it because nobody felt that particular way. But I just think that it was one of those things where it was political pressure that got it pulled, and I just think that's and with a false message, a false message of what it was, with false intent of what it really was, what was really happening. I think that's just a dangerous thing to do. All right, look, we're going to go to break because when we get back, we have Louis Tannen. He is promoting Wu Assassins, which dropped on August 8th. It's on Netflix. We're going to talk to him about a great many things.
Hey guys, Reilly here, and let me tell you about Rule of Two. You looking for a Star Wars fix? Well, Rule of Two is that show. It drops on Collider Video's main YouTube channel, as well as on Podcast One's Jedi Council feed. So go over there, subscribe, share it with your friends. It's hosted by myself and Mark Fernandez. We talk everything in the Star Wars universe with a lot of deep dives and a lot of conversations that go all in. You know what to do. Subscribe, join us there, and rise.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Mailbag. A new episode drops every Saturday and Sunday in your face and in your ears, answering the questions from you fans about the world of entertainment, film, and television. Me and great guests from our sphere do the best to answer your questions from Twitter, from Instagram, and of course, email as well, every Saturday and Sunday.
Hi, I'm Coy Jandro, host of Collider Heroes, and I'm here to tell you we've got 20-minute episodes coming at you on Collider Video, on the YouTube, as you've always loved it. Plus, now we've got hour-long podcasts dropping every Thursday, so make sure to subscribe to the podcast because it's going to get even more sweaty on the podcast. Plus, every week, we're going to try to get some very special guest interviews, all of the people that help shape these movies and TV shows you love. So, video, podcast, interviews, all coming at you. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. Stay sweaty.
Hey guys, Perry Nemiroff here to let you know that The Witching Hour is all over Collider right now. You can listen to that horror-filled podcast with myself, with Haley Fouch. We talk about witchiness, we talk about slashers, we talk about space horror, you name it, all on that show on the Collider Factory feed. We also have clips on the Collider Podcast YouTube channel, and on top of that, you can find an article all about Witching Hour every single Tuesday on Collider.com. Check it out, get scared. Hopefully you survive the Witching Hour.
What's up, Collider fans? Ryan Satin here from ProWrestlingSheet.com, where you can find the top stories throughout the week in the world of professional wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan like myself, then you'd be doing yourself a disservice by not checking out all the shows we do every week on YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. In particular, on Wednesdays, we've got a SmackDown recap show hosted by John Roca and myself, where we pick apart and talk about every little thing that happened on the Blue Brand. So do yourself a favor and go subscribe at youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet.
Hey guys, Perry here to let you know about the new edition of Collider Movie Talk. We are going to 5 days a week. We have a short, sweet 20-minute show where we focus on the two biggest stories of the day. You can expect to see all of your favorite Collider personalities on the show, including Jeff Snyder, John Roca, Haley Fouch. You're getting Josh McCouga every Friday. We're going to have a blast. It's going to be informative, fun. Come join us. 3 p.m. PT live every single day of the week, right here on the Collider Video YouTube channel. You can also find the show on the Collider Movie Talk feed on our podcast network, so go watch, go listen, however you prefer to get all of your movie news.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Sports Time. Well, you know, if you've been watching us every week, you know we break down the latest and the greatest in the world of sports, talk about the big issues, the big games, all of it with a rotating band of guests like Matt Nose and Josh McCouga. We've had Taylor Bisciotti on. We've had so many great guests. Now, if you want to see more of Sports Time or you want to try it out for the first time, remember to subscribe to Collider Sports YouTube channel. And if you want to take us along with you in your ears, you can go and subscribe to the Collider Sports podcast feed for all the sports goodness.
Hey guys, it's Reilly here. Let me tell you about the Reilly Roundtable. You know it, right? It drops every Thursday on Collider Conversations, and I have guests from all across the space. John Roca, Gray Drake, Alexander Desplat came on at one point. We talk everything from movies, we talk about life, and everything in between. What do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? It's the Reilly Roundtable every Thursday on Collider Conversations. You get it there.
Hello, how are you guys doing? I'm Kristian Harloff. I'm the host of Collider Jedi Council. We talk about everything Star Wars, and if you want to catch our weekly show where we talk about the latest and greatest in Star Wars, it's movie news, it's canon, it's all of it. We take questions from you guys. How do you do it? Main channel, that's right here. Subscribe to this channel, and you can listen, you can watch, you can do all of it, but if you want to just listen to it, you got the podcast feed too. Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, you can listen to it in your car. Do all of it. It's Star Wars. Episode 9's coming out, and then after Episode 9, you got TV shows, so we're going to be your sports center for Star Wars. Do it. Come on. Be real. Hey, guys. Collider Live coming back. Our guest, Louis Tan, is going to be here in just a moment here. He's talking about Wu Assassins. Roxy about to paint a house with the all-white and the
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's just gonna come in. It's hard with the chair. I'm just gonna stand till he gets in.
Okay.
You just had to,
With the new legs on the table, I can't.
That's true.
It's like a whole
it's
thing.
A nice
Why don't you
table.
pick up the garbage can and put it over here?
This I can lift. Look, guys, I'm lifting
Gonna hit
something.
Winston in the head.
My eye out.
Yeah,
I need that for dodgeball. What
I
are you
would never do
doing?
that.
I appreciate
I'm
it.
pretty good at dodgeball.
Yeah. You want to come play?
Yeah.
You can
I'm
come
a little
tonight.
slow though.
That's okay.
Here's the thing about dodgeball that I love.
Yeah.
I was at my daughter's friend had a birthday party. I don't know, it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so they were just playing in this, I don't know, whatever it was.
So this was like 5-year-old kids at the time.
5, yeah, but it wasn't about the kids. The kids took a break for a second. Now all the dads said, all right, we're going to play dodgeball.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
But I got teamed up with a bunch of savages, right?
Yeah.
And we just murdered people.
What was this at the trampoline place?
And that wasn't. It was at this place on Westwood Boulevard, and it was just. It
I
was
think we
closed
should
off.
clip that out.
And I'll tell you right now that I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
But I was trying to take people's heads off.
It's
And it was like-
amazing.
yeah, it was crazy.
That too.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? So we'll stop
How you
talking
doing,
about dodgeballs at 5-year-old parties. We're going to now bring in our guest. He is from the show Wu Assassins, which just dropped on August 8th. Louis Tan is joining us in studio right now. We got him. What's up, man?
What's
How you doing?
going on, everybody?
Nice
How
to
you
have
doing,
you
brother?
in, man. How you
Yeah.
doing?
Why'd
thank
you
you
get a
for having me.
handshake?
Why do you have a horse?
Why didn't I get a handshake?
we
We,
don't-
all have questions.
we don't even know what's up,
How
man.
are
How
you,
you doing?
brother?
Nice
Good
to
to
see
see
you. Yeah, we don't even know what the horse is about. She
I
goes through the
found
props.
it.
No,
Yeah.
I like it. I'm just curious.
Thank you so much. Start with that next time.
Yeah.
I like the horse. Why do you have
it's
it?
fucking
Like
weird.
horse, why is that there?
Yeah, you got to be at the horse.
It's relatively unclear to me as well,
Yeah.
but I love him or her, whatever he decides to be.
Louis, the answer is that she fidgets a lot. She fidgets a lot, and she needed something as opposed to tapping her hands. Now she's got the horse,
Yeah.
and we're going to name the horse by the end of the time. But I saw something as where Reilly was telling me a little bit about you. Something that I thought was fascinating was that you, tell me if this is correct, you moved here to L.A. Your dad was hired as a fight coordinator for Tim Burton's Batman.
That's correct.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that is awesome. Like, how did that
they
go
just
down?
had the anniversary a few weeks
Yeah,
ago,
man.
I posted some pictures of my dad, and he's like flying kicking Batman, and it was kind of crazy to see, and
Yeah.
they're all like these old film pictures, so. Yeah, it was. It's surreal to think about, actually.
How old were you at the time?
I was young. I was like 3.
Oh, so you weren't. You wouldn't.
wow.
Even if you were on set, you wouldn't remember it, right? So.
No, I don't have vivid memories
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but it's kind of like always in our house. I remember my dad having like the Batman leather jacket, like
that's
from
cool.
the cast.
Yeah.
I stole it when I was like 15, and I wore it to school, and it's just I just have these memories of like
Sure.
my dad, kind of like, and Batman, the connection. So
Yeah, so that was it. So you guys moved here because of that movie, and then he's still working in the business. When do you decide that's your path? That's what you want to start to do?
I mean, I grew up around it,
Yeah,
so it was just the only thing I was seeing, And as a kid, it's like, what better way to grow up around these sets where you're playing make believe as a kid anyway.
Right.
So
Right.
you go on set and you see your dad playing dress up and fighting with all these bad guys, and
right.
you're like, wow, this is crazy. Like, you can actually make money doing this. I'm like,
Absolutely.
Are there other sets you remember being on with your dad? Big sets?
yeah, there's a lot. All of them, but like Bloodsport 2 was a big one because we were in Thailand. So we were
Is
there
Tom
doing
Poe
that.
in that one too?
I don't think so. I think
okay, he's
Daniel
in
Bernhardt's the lead in that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's Tom-
and now he's doing all the John Wick stuff.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so just like all the my dad's been doing films for forever. Pirates of the Caribbean, Inception, Tango and Cash, and I remember seeing him play like the bad guy in Tango and Cash, and Kurt Russell's choking him with a chair, and like, you know, I mean, at this time, my father, he's a stunt coordinator, he's a fight coordinator, but he's also an actor and a stuntman. So he would get roles in these different films, but he'd always play the bad guy. So it was crazy for me as a kid because I couldn't watch a lot of the stuff that he was doing because he was getting killed, he was getting beat up.
Right.
And it's kind of like,
I know, right?
I didn't even think about that.
It fed into my psyche as an actor, like when I started performing and wanting to, you know, make my own path and make my own voice, because I was kind of like, well, how can I take this to the next level? You know what I mean? I see my father where he took it, and how can I bring this to the next level? So, you know, it's important to me to play leading roles and roles where, you know, the characters are looked at as heroes, and, you know, like I've been pretty outspoken about it, but that's the reason. It's just because I haven't seen it before. And as a kid growing up, it affected me because it's my father, but then look at all these other kids that are at Comic-Con that don't have anybody to look to, you know? So for me, it's important, and I choose my career path based on, you know, these type of decision-making things, you know, so.
It's interesting because I feel like this has been in the news a lot recently. I think it was The Rock and Statham and Vin Diesel who are all coming out saying why they insist on winning all of the fights in the movies they're in. Did you guys see this article?
I saw that,
but for them, it was more about making sure that their star power rises, because if you're losing the fight, it's also part of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but if you're losing the fight, then you are not going to be as successful in your next movie. Is that something that plays into it for you as well, wanting to be the hero?
No, I mean, I read that article. It's an interesting article. It's just kind of like a business tactic, I think. You know what I mean? The audience sees you lose, and they're like, oh, maybe The Rock's not as strong as we think he is. Even though it's make-believe, you know? And I think whatever serves the story is important, you know? But I do choose roles. I see where you're making the connection, but I do choose roles to put myself in a position where I can be an example of something that hasn't happened before.
I get that.
So that's all it is, you know?
I 100% get that, in the same way that, like, it was that Black Panther was such a big deal to not only see as like a front-running hero, but to like see like a black man like come up and like do stuff. It's the same thing that you don't like. You get a lot of like the old trope was what Russian, Asian, and like sometimes like African warlord would come in and be the villain and like get grossly destroyed. So I understand what you mean about like having a positive role model for everybody to see of every diversity. You know what I mean? So I totally get that.
But the good thing though, also was the fact you gotta, and that's no matter what race, size, you have to fit into it, and you've got to be cast right, and you got to be believable as a good guy, and you have been, and that's the thing, because you got to be, and I think that's also come from like the mantra that you have, right? And because you learned that from your dad, you learn things. Your dad taught you martial arts, right?
That's right.
Which is crazy. Like, how old were you when you started doing martial arts?
So I was kicking around as soon as I could move. You know what I mean? Like I was like 5 years old, stretching in front of the TV with my father, watching Bruce Lee films, and you know, it was just something that we did to bond. You know,
what styles?
Well, my father won the British national title in Taekwondo.
Okay.
He also competed in Muay Thai, kickboxing, and so I kind of learned a little bit of everything when I was younger. You know, when you're young, you're not really learning a style because you're not taking it as seriously. So you're just learning how to kick, how to punch, and for me, it was like a bonding time. You know what I mean? Because my father didn't come from like a very good background. Like he was abandoned when he was young.
Okay.
You know, so my father didn't really know. You know, it was hit or miss with me. It was like, you know, how do I raise this kid? And, you know, so for me, it was kind of like a nice bonding time with him.
Right.
So that's kind of how I looked at it. And, but now it's like an integral part of my life as a human, as a man, and also as an actor, because and I think it's misconstrued a lot with these shows because, or we get a bad rep that like, martial artists, they're not serious actors. I beg to differ because it's expression with the body, right? Like Buster Keaton, like Charlie Chaplin, like they were doing films with no dialogue, right? So at that time, if you were a dancer or you're a performer, it was all one. Like actors were singers, dancers, performers.
Right.
Martial artists is the same thing. I can express how I feel in my emotions in my fights. You know what I mean? So if I get doubled by a stunt guy, and no disrespect to the stunt community because they're fantastic performers, but there's part of me that believes that if I'm doing an action film or an action series, I have to be the one fighting because no one's going to bring the emotion like I'm going to bring it. And I just happen to be able to do the skill as well. So
that's what listening to you as far as learning it at a young age and taking it with you, and like you said, your dad would want us to make sure what kind of kid am I going to raise here. When you're taking martial arts to school, like what kind of kid are you? Did you ever use it to where you know, listen, because you're in high school, you're in grammar school, kind of growing up. Kids can be dicks. It's like, do you ever use it to anger wise, or do you sometimes say no? I'm able to. I learned, and I'm cool with it, and I don't use it because of that. That's the lesson that I learned.
Yeah, I think generally most martial artists are calmer people. Just chemically also you're getting out these, you're balancing your chemicals, especially when you're growing up. There's like crazy testosterone spikes, and you're balancing your chemicals because you're getting out all this energy instead of just sitting there on the sofa doing nothing.
Right.
So I was always fighting or running around or playing with my brothers or being outside. I think that helped balance, but it also gives you a confidence in being able to carry yourself and being able to deal with bullies or a situation.
People start to know and hear that your shit, so they leave you alone anyway.
Yeah, generally, I think you'll get challenged a couple times at first. So when I was in school, I went to a school that was in an area that had a lot of white gangs, like a lot of fake Nazi gangs. So I got in a lot of fights in the beginning of the school year. And then after a while, it was
like people picking on you, and then you just kind of come back and say
right,
no.
yeah. And then so I just defend myself, and then after a while, it was fine.
Right.
But I think generally it gives you more of a sense of confidence. It definitely helps for my acting abilities as well because, I can channel energy through my whole body instead of just here. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I use everything, and I think that that's really important. So even if I'm doing a scene where I'm not fighting, I'll warm up. I'll stretch and just get in tune, get grounded. So then that
process.
Way, right.
Yeah, totally.
Which I got a chance just kind of talking about that, piggybacking a little bit. I got a chance to watch the first episode of the show. I really enjoyed it. Like the choreography is incredible.
Yeah, next level.
Now I'm very curious. Is the show itself an original IP? Is it based off of a comic or a legend or anything like that, or where does it come from?
And before you answer that, also just to let the fans know that it is Wu Assassins that we're talking about here too. And while you answer that, can you also tell us a little bit about the show for people who had not seen it yet, what they could expect from it?
Yeah,
story-wise?
definitely. So Wu Assassins just came out on Netflix a few days ago. No, it's not based on an IP or a comic book, which is why I think it's so interesting because it's very difficult to create, fantasy and action, and so they're taking a lot of big risks in doing this. It's definitely influenced by Five Deadly Venoms, The Last Airbender.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's...
I caught that. Yeah.
So the Five
dope.
Elements.
Yeah.
So basically, the show is about a character named Kai who's a chef. He's living in Chinatown, San Francisco, in a really bad environment, and kind of under the gangs, the Chinese triads, and he stumbles upon a mythological energy force called the Tao, which is, it's basically like the Chinese elementals and the pathway of energy balance, of good and evil. And he stumbles upon this energy, kind of a story that's been told before in some ways, but then we've grounded it in this modern Chinatown with Asian American cultural references and just stuff that to me has never been seen before on screen.
Right.
And my character in particular, Lawrence Cal plays a character called Tommy, who's a heroin addict.
Right.
There's never been an Asian American heroin addict. Usually they're grade A students, you know what I mean? There's a lot of groundbreaking character tropes that hasn't been seen before. So I think it's very interesting, and we also pay homage to the old martial art films and of the time period that we all love.
Well, and you are... Go ahead, Roxy.
That's interesting, though, because it's kind of the opposite of what you're saying that you're looking for in roles. The fact that you want to show little kids out there, you can kick butt, you can be the good guy, but you're excited about having a heroin addict because it's the first of the kind, or the first Asian American heroin addict on screen.
Yeah.
That's an interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah, no, it's not that I'm excited there's a heroin addict, but it's it's that's the Asian.
We did it.
We did it. We made it happen.
We did the opposite.
Goals?
Yeah.
Yeah, forget the straight A's.
That's it.
Okay, we got the heroin addict.
Yeah.
No, it's. I mean, look, the show. This particular show is violent. It's very violent. There's a lot of stuff in there that's not going to influence little kids in the way that I was saying before. But I'm saying as an actor, I try to choose roles that have just that haven't been done before, that are as least stereotypical as possible. And in that sense, break boundaries, and in that sense, be able to influence people. So, obviously, I'm not always going to be able to pick a role that's going to influence young children, but as an older actor. So, but definitely breaking a lot of boundaries and pushing forward the narrative.
I think it's great, man. I understand what you're saying, because again, it's showing the full range.
Don't do heroin.
Yeah. Well, right. Don't do it.
I understand what you're saying too. Pro heroin. No.
But you might get kicked in the face by a good guy.
Right. But I understand what you're saying in the same way that you had Crazy Rich Asians last year. You had Always Be My Maybe earlier this year. Like you're just again seeing the full breadth of like Asian Americans and Asians in cinema, and how they do like literally everything else that everybody else is dealing with. Like they're dealing with it just as much.
Did you see The Farewell? The Farewell.
I haven't seen it yet. But it's on my list.
Yeah.
Did you check that out?
Burning.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Bong Joon-ho just won Cannes with his film Parasite. It's one of my favorite directors. So yeah, I mean, we're making moves, and it's just like humanizing. Like we just want to be the full spectrum. You know what I mean? I don't want to just do these martial art films. Of course, I love it, but I don't want to just do that.
Right.
We want the full spectrum. Like everyone else. So.
Yeah.
Well, this particular, like you said, you said, I'm not always going to be able to choose these roles, but this particular, how did this come about? Like, because with Netflix and everything, how, because you get involved with this project, how?
So I just came off Into the Badlands on AMC, and I read the script. I didn't know too much about this character, where he was going to go. I just knew that he was Asian American, very kind of like cocky and flamboyant and arrogant. He was a gangster. He was involved in these things, and it was in modern Chinatown. And I was like, I've been dying to play, because Into the Badlands it's a genre piece.
Right.
It's almost Victorian in the way, even though it's in the future. But the way that we speak and the way that we dress. So I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to kind of work with Iko, obviously. I mean, if you guys haven't seen The Raid,
of course,
one of the best action
ever.
films of all time, probably top 10 action films.
You
of all
more of a
time.
Raid 2 guy?
I'm a Raid 1 guy.
Raid 1, okay.
Yeah, but I like both.
Yeah.
I just like Kill Bill. Like Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill. It's the same film to me.
It's just layered.
Yeah.
It's
Unrelated to what we're
film.
talking about, but relevant to the earlier conversation, Godfather or Godfather 2?
Godfather 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you.
Godfather 2 is the best Godfather.
We were having a very detailed. We'll get into that.
Godfather 3 kind of like just being like
it's
this
like Rocky
weird
5.
epilogue.
Yeah.
But it's kind of no, that's a great question.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like one film. But no, look, I want to push myself as a martial artist too, So I just worked with Andy Chang, Master Didi, who did Kill Bill, Matrix. These guys are like the top level Hong Kong style wire work, wushu, and now Iko is like, I never met Iko before. I just saw The Raid, and I was like, this is the craziest. I mean, everyone's been talking about The Raid for years now. Even now in meetings at studios, they'll be like, we kind of want the action like The Raid. It's like, well, you can't just do that. You know what I mean? Like, Iko's one of a kind.
Yeah.
The dude is a gem. Like, he is a rare gem. He's also, like, extremely humble and, like, was teaching me on set, like, it doesn't have to be that way, you know what I mean? You get there and, we've all heard horror stories of different actors. I won't name any names, but just people that kind of come off a little bit arrogant in the way that they hold themselves in their martial arts, but Iko is just like, let me teach you. I'm like, sir, you are incredible.
That's cool.
Like anything I can learn from you. And he'd be like, come learn, come train.
Well, without getting too deep into the plot or anything, because I've got the basic now from that first episode, are we going to get to see you kick some ass too coming?
Yeah, so it's cool. Like, you don't see my character fight for a little bit, which is cool because I think there's a nice build up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have me, you have Juju Chan, who's a real champion killer. She's knocking chicks out on YouTube. Like, you can YouTube her. Like, she's a legit martial artist. Catherine Winnick's a black belt. You know what I mean? There's a lot of Mark Dacascos, who's just in John Wick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of people on the set that can fight. So, it's, they place them sparingly, especially all the girls, too. Like, all the girls have insane fights. Like, so I think it's a really interesting show in that sense that you see a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally get. I mean, even the girl characters are, like, stronger than a lot of the female or male characters, and they push the story forward. They're not there as like a centerpiece, as like a eye candy for an action film. I mean, these girls are beasts. So.
It all makes sense in the telling of the story itself. But when you say that, when you have all these like major martial artists on set and all these great fighters, does that do maybe one of two things? Like, is it intimidating at all? Because like, obviously you know your shit, you know do it. Are there people that are like, wow, that's at a totally different level, or is it also exciting because you're learning so much?
Because doing stand up sometimes like if like a bigger name comes in, all of a sudden I'm just like, follow. Oh shit! Like is it kind of similar? Is that the same?
It's both. You know, it's like you gotta step it up, but it's also intimidating. I mean, there's a scene in an episode where I fight with Iko, and it intercuts between a fight with me and a fight with Iko, and it's back and forth, intercutting it. I knew they were going to do that. And we're sitting on top of this old like wood mill, and there's like, you know, rusted nails everywhere. It's freezing cold in Vancouver in the winter, and it's slippery, it's wet. It's the worst conditions ever for a fight scene, ever. And we're on top of this platform, and then there's a huge like hole in the middle of this like grated metal. And Iko's on one side, and I'm on the other side. We're shooting this way, and then we're shooting him. So every time that he would shoot, we would kind of duck down and watch, and then it was my turn. We'd do the same thing. And we're supposed to be in different areas, but we're on the same platform. Yeah. So I'm literally watching him perform, and then going to perform, and then watching him, and then going. And he's so fast and so good that I'm like... And he's half my size, so, you know, I can't move as fast as him, like, physically. Right. Anyway, so I'm, like, watching him and being, like, super intimidated, and then going back to do my piece, watching him and being, like, very disgusted with myself, and then going back to doing my piece. It was crazy.
Why did they shoot it like that?
It was just the way that we had to shoot it on. Yeah, timing-wise, and sometimes it gets that way, and just probably to bother me.
This sounds like, right? I was going to say, this sounds like the most physical rap battle of all time. Like, you're just like, all right, Boris! And you're like, oh, shit.
It was literally like that. I look at him and be like, okay, I guess it's my turn.
Right.
You know, but actually,
you got to step up your game, though.
Right.
That's
and
great.
so it made me kind of give 200%, and then I watched the scene back, and you know, I was pretty pleased with it. So. You know, if I can at least keep up with Iko, then I'm in a good spot.
It seems like you have, and that the show I haven't had a chance yet. I'm definitely getting into it. It seems very fascinating. It seems like because that was what I watched when I was a kid. Like you mentioned, Bloodsport and all those movies. Like, growing up, that's what I watched. I love those movies, and I wanted to see kind of resurgence. Now because of streaming, there's so much more material and a lot of old school nostalgia stuff that's coming back, and these types of shows, like you said. But now putting a different spin on it. So it's right on my alley. But the other thing I was going to ask you about Iko, do you know if he's going to be involved? Because we had Joe Carnahan in here not too long ago, and he was talking about, he's doing the Raid remake. Are any of the original guys going to help? Because I know they got the endorsement from, Carnahan got the endorsement. Do you know, is anybody getting involved? Are you getting involved with that movie at all?
I don't know, man. I don't know, and that's a big shoes to fill. I don't see how that happens. I mean, to be honest, I mean, look, I wish them the best. I don't see how that happens. Yeah. Sometimes there's this thing that comes together when you're on set and where everything just hits perfectly, and I think that they had one of those things, like Park Chan-wook's Old Boy is one of those movies for me. Like, it just every single thing worked perfectly, and you can't touch it. And if you tried to remake it, it's foolish.
Yeah. Well, you know what when I saw Dredd, did you see Dredd with Carl Urban?
No.
See it. Because it is vastly underrated, and it takes a lot of elements. It essentially is the Raid, the first movie where he's got to get to the top of the thing, but it's not. It doesn't have even anywhere close to try to the level of martial arts that the original Raid does. But it's a phenomenal action movie, and I recommend it to anybody because that movie was just spot on. But I think there's ways to take certain movies and certain plots, and it's been done time and time again. Look at Star Wars. It took from Seven Samurai, a lot of these different movies. But I think that you can do that and show respect to it, and not try to do a carbon remake of it.
Right. I think that's the best way to do it, and try to make it your own and put your own spin on it, and push boundaries in your own way. I think that's good. So we have like killers on the set behind the scene too. I mean, we have Elizabeth Ronalds, who is the editor of Deadpool 2 and John Wick and Atomic Blonde. She edited our show.
And is that you met her on Deadpool?
Yeah,
too?
on Deadpool.
Yeah.
That was a great scene, bro. That was funny.
Thanks, man. But yeah, it's just like somebody that has the know-how to let the scene breathe and to not chop up someone's choreography because it's I think a lot of editors get the choreography and they're like scared, like, what do I do with this? Oh, let me just make it work smoothly, as opposed to like, let me tell a story with this action. I mean, if you watch Jackie Chan's old films, there's a story in the fights. Even if the fight is 15 minutes long, there's an arc. There's a first act, a second act, and a third act in the fight.
Yeah,
that's how it should be performed. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of where I'm trying to place myself when I do action films is break down my fights in that same way, you know, so it tells a story.
Which, just to piggyback off of Jackie Chan, my roommate is a Chinese American actor as well, and so I got to say that we're both very jealous that you were in part of Rush Hour in any form or fashion in the TV show. Like, that's a dream of ours to do that. So there's that.
I'll no comment about that.
I understand, but I still I get it, but I still want to give you some love for that. And second, he loves Blackpink too, so I got to give you props for the shirt too, man.
Blackpink, baby.
Yeah,
Shout out to
killing it.
Blackpink.
They're killing it right now,
I'm
man.
a bling. You know that their songs on our show, right?
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's why I got the shirt on.
Okay.
Blackpink, we're fortunate enough to have them on our soundtrack. Snoop Dogg did an original song.
Okay. Oh,
Higher
wow.
Brothers, who is like the best Chinese rap group, you know, right now in the game, blowing up worldwide. They're on our track, so we have a kind of a cool soundtrack as well.
Nice.
I want to go back to a couple of things
Yeah.
that you said. Number one, so
Is the horse okay?
the horse is doing well. The horse is doing really well.
Big martial arts fan, the horse.
Okay, good.
Huge. So you're saying that if somebody offered you a role in the raid, you're saying no to it at this point?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I've been offered things before, even recently this year, that I turned down. That I just it was up my alley. You know, like you would think that I would do it, but it's just. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. I don't want to be the dude who ruined the Raid remake. You know what I mean? So you have to look at everything involved, the directors, who's going to be doing the choreography, who's going to be editing it. I mean, literally everything involved, because that could be a death trap for me, especially someone like me who's known for doing action films. Like, what if I remade the Raid and ruined it, and then Iko came and killed me? You know? And then we were never friends again. I mean,
you better do it right. Now, you know what?
yeah, but it's
fucked up.
it's not always as easy as it seems. You gotta take a look at the script too, and you gotta see, you know, like where are they going with this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's tricky because when they write you a check for it and they make you an offer without an audition. This happened to me 3 or 4 times this year, where they were like
With movies that we know about?
with films and with shows, when they're like, hey, do you want to do this? And they weren't all action shows, but you know, and I read it and I'm like, anybody else would jump at the chance to do this, but it's just, to me, it's about. I want to look back and just be proud of what I'm doing. That's it. I
Are
don't
there
care.
regrets? Are there ever regrets when you do something like that too? Because it's risky. Because that's risky sometimes. Because if there's a movie, I don't know the movies. I'm not going to pressure you to tell us which ones they are. But
Or shows.
If they're hits afterwards, do you say, maybe I should have done it, or you stand by it because you said it just wasn't what I was feeling?
No, I think my instinct is pretty good, and I have a good team. You know, I run it through my family and my team, and we make it a decision. But my gut instinct is pretty good about what I know I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing. I mean, there's stuff that I almost had that I didn't get, that I looked back and I was like, damn. But you know, that always happens.
Yeah, it always happens to everybody, for sure. But look, Louis, it was a pleasure to have you in here. I want to make sure that you guys go and check out Wu Assassins. It already dropped. It was August 8th. It's on Netflix. It really sounds cool, man. I'm going to check it out.
Thank you,
for
man.
sure.
Yeah, it's a killer show. I'm super proud of it. I'm proud of the action work, and I'm proud of how we push the narrative forward for Asian Americans. And the show takes a second to kind of get its feet, but once it gets rolling, it doesn't stop.
Are you on the Twitter and all that stuff too? Can they find you on
Yeah,
on the
Louis
Twits?
Tan Official on Instagram.
All right, so
and I think it's the Louis Tan on Twitter.
all right, so guys, go ahead and check out Louis on there. Let him know that you saw him and heard him here on Collider Live, and that you're going to be checking out Wu Assassins. Go and check that out. Do it tonight. And we are going to be back right after the break. I'm going to tell you a little bit about finally Good Boys, not
The Boys.
not The Boys.
No.
All right, we'll see you after the break.
Hey guys, Reilly here, and let me tell you about Rule of Two. You looking for a Star Wars fix? Well, Rule of Two is that show. It drops on Collider Video's main YouTube channel, as well as on Podcast One's Jedi Council feed. So go over there, subscribe, share it with your friends. It's hosted by myself and Mark Fernandez. We talk everything in the Star Wars universe with a lot of deep dives and a lot of conversations that go all in. You know what to do. Subscribe, join us there, and rise.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Mailbag. A new episode drops every Saturday and Sunday in your face and in your ears, answering the questions from you fans about the world of entertainment, film, and television. Me and great guests from our sphere do the best to answer your questions from Twitter, from Instagram, and of course, email as well, every Saturday and Sunday.
Hi, I'm Coy Jandro, host of Collider Heroes, and I'm here to tell you we've got 20-minute episodes coming at you on Collider Video, on the YouTube, as you've always loved it. Plus, now we've got hour-long podcasts dropping every Thursday, so make sure to subscribe to the podcast because it's going to get even more sweaty on the podcast. Plus, every week, we're going to try to get some very special guest interviews, all of the people that help shape these movies and TV shows you love. So, video, podcast, interviews, all coming at you. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. Stay sweaty.
Hey guys, Perry Nemiroff here to let you know that The Witching Hour is all over Collider right now. You can listen to that Horrorville podcast with myself, with Haley Fouch. We talk about witchiness, we talk about slashers, we talk about space horror, you name it, all on that show on the Collider Factory feed. We also have clips on the Collider Podcast YouTube channel, and on top of that, you can find an article all about Witching Hour every single Tuesday on Collider.com. Check it out, get scared. Hopefully you survive the Witching Hour.
What's up, Collider fans? Ryan Satin here from ProWrestlingSheet.com, where you can find the top stories throughout the week in the world of professional wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan like myself, then you'd be doing yourself a disservice by not checking out all the shows we do every week on YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. In particular, on Wednesdays, we've got a SmackDown recap show hosted by John Roca and myself, where we pick apart and talk about every little thing that happened on the Blue brand. So do yourself a favor and go subscribe at youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet.
Hey guys, Perry here to let you know about the new edition of Collider Movie Talk. We are going to 5 days a week. We have a short, sweet 20-minute show where we foucus on the two biggest stories of the day. You can expect to see all of your favorite Collider personalities on the show, including Jeff Snyder, John Roca, Haley Fouch. You're getting Josh McCouga every Friday. We're going to have a blast. It's going to be informative, fun. Come join us. 3 p.m. PT live every single day of the week, right here on the Collider Video YouTube channel. You can also find the show on the Collider Movie Talk feed on our podcast network, so go watch, go listen, however you prefer to get all of your movie news.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Sports Time. Well, you know, if you've been watching us every week, you know we break down the latest and the greatest in the world of sports, talk about the big issues, the big games, all of it. The rotating band of guests like Matt Noce, Josh McCouga. We've had Taylor Bashadi on. We've had so many great guests. Now, if you want to see more of Sports Time or you want to try it out for the first time, remember to subscribe to Collider Sports YouTube channel. And if you want to take us along with you in your ears, you can go and subscribe to the Collider Sports podcast feed for all the sports goodness.
Hey guys, it's Reilly here. Let me tell you about the Reilly Roundtable. You know it, right? It drops every Thursday on Collider Conversations, and I have guests from all across the space. John Roca, Gray Drake, Alexander Desplat came on at one point. We talk everything from movies, we talk about life, and everything in between. What do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? It's the Reilly Roundtable every Thursday on Collider Conversations. You get it there.
Hello, how are you guys doing? I'm Kristian Harloff. I'm the host of Collider Jedi Council. We talk about everything Star Wars, and if you want to catch our weekly show where we talk about the latest and greatest in Star Wars, it's movie news, it's canon, it's all of it. We take questions from you guys. How do you do it? Main channel, that's right here. Subscribe to this channel, and you can listen, you can watch, you can do all of it, but if you want to just listen to it, you got the podcast feed too. This is merely a story. Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, you can listen to it in your car. Do all of it. It's Star Wars. Episode 9's coming out, and then after Episode 9, you got TV shows, so we're going to be your sports center for Star Wars. Do it. Come on. Be real.
All right, everybody, we're back.
Yeah.
Louis Tan, cool guy, man. I can say, we don't know how people are going to be. I was kind of fascinated. I didn't know enough about the show, right?
Yeah.
That really is my type of thing. So, and you liked the first episode.
No,
checking out.
The fight choreography is incredible.
Yeah.
They start off in one of those sequences where like something happens, you're like, what the is going on?
Yeah.
But the fight is incredible, and then they go back and like bring you up to speed by the end of the
what's
episode.
going on.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. I'm gonna check it out for sure. It's Wu Assassins, everybody, and we had Louis
Seems like
Tan.
a cool dude.
Yeah, I liked him. I liked him a lot. He seemed like just kind of level-headed.
Always interesting when you grow up in the thick of the industry.
Right.
And what that means, and so a lot of people run from it, and a lot of people run towards it because of that.
And that's also why I asked him about, in school, because that one of the reasons that a lot of people with their bullying and stuff, they learn this stuff. But he was just like you said, he was raised in martial arts, and at one point, just like, look, man, you keep bullying me, I'm gonna kick you in the mouth. And so the shoes that guy's wearing. You don't want to get kicked in the mouth by that guy. But he's just like a nice, cool, calm, and collected dude. So.
I'm surprised, though. I wanted to ask him about this, but the conversation moved on, that he's not getting any grief about doing his own stunts. Only because when you become the star of the show, that's the moneymaker. Yeah.
Well, he's
and you're not Tom Cruise yet, so.
Right. Well, but he's, I want to say he's like third or fourth lead. So I think they probably give him some leeway. But it also, I mean, like Iko like does all of his own stuff. Like, I mean, the further up you go as a martial artist, a lot of them actually do their own stuff. You know what I mean? I guess it just depends on who you're talking about.
Right. All right, listen. So like I said before, Good Boys, it is coming out this weekend. I saw it last night, and thank you so much, Fliv. I thought that the movie, I didn't know what to expect, right? It's like, okay,
can you talk about what it is for anybody? Is it Seth? Who's
Seth Rogen produced
Seth
it?
Rogen?
That's right.
Did I make
Seth
that up?
Rogen in the trailer. He was in the trailer.
Yeah.
But he's not in the movie.
Yeah, they did a marketing campaign of like, hey, you kids can't see the movie.
It wasn't necessary that for him to be in the movie because he's produced, and it's like it's strange because it's like a coming of age story with sixth graders.
That's what I think Jonah Hill with mid-90s. It seems to be like a thing that
it is for sure, and it was it was like super bad, but for sixth graders, right? And I'll tell you though,
so disturbing.
As great as as Jacob Tremblay was, okay, and the chemistry with all the kids, this kid who played Lucas, this kid Keith L. Williams, killed me.
Which one is that?
Yeah, Lucas. He's this kid.
Oh, the black kid.
He's the black kid. Yeah, he was.
No,
look at that
he's
picture.
hilarious.
He's
I've
awesome.
seen him before, but I don't remember what in.
That's an awesome picture.
He is a riot. Like, so all three of the kids, they're really, really funny. So it's basically Jacob Tremblay wakes up in the house. He's starting he's starting to get feelings. He's making an avatar out of Warcraft, and he's making the orc's boobs bigger. And his dad played by not Will Arnett. Who's
Will Forte?
Yes. Will Forte walks in. He's like, you're growing up. And they go and he goes on like this adventure with his friends, and he's trying to find the girl that he wants to kiss at the party and all this stuff, and he gets invited to the party. But all this craziness kind of ensues. It reminded me of like License to Drive and like I said, Superbad and all these movies. And Brady Noon, is that the other kid who plays the character's name is Thor? I didn't know at first when I started this kid. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this kid, and I really did. And my friend, a friend that I came up with in stand-up comedy, Retta. Retta's a good friend of mine.
She's in it?
Yeah, Retta's the mom. She plays the mom. She's in it for a brief, along with...
she's amazing in Good Girls. I find it very funny she went from Good Girls to Good Boys.
What is the movie rated?
R.
Easily
R.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot because that was the thing that I was worried about. I was like, okay, is this just going to be one of those movies that just say, it's crazy to hear a sixth grader say fuck, right? And they do that a couple times, but there are a lot of predictable jokes, but I don't mind predictable jokes when the predictable jokes are funny. You know, if you can still make a predictable joke funny.
Bro, how many husbands does she have? Like that to me, like just in the trailer, they say that when they're watching porn. Do they?
Yes.
Oh my god,
yeah.
That sold me. I was like, okay, wait a minute.
That whole
That's
scene,
a funny line.
Certain things that these kids say because it's like they're sixth graders, and they think they're saying one thing, but they're really meaning another thing. And but the kid, man, he plays Lucas. There's a particular scene that they go in and try to do this one thing, and there's like a horn that goes off, and he goes, ah! And he's like 5 different times. Every time I'm laughing. The timing was so good on these kids. And Jacob Tremblay just continued. He's going to be one of those. He's going to be like a Gosling type guy. He's going to be around forever, this kid.
Let me ask you this random question.
Yeah.
Obviously, your oldest daughter is still younger, but if she wanted to be an actress and this was a movie they wanted to cast her in, with the content of the movie, would you let her perform?
It's such a hard question, but I actually thought about that watching it
Really?
last night. Even watching it last night, I thought about that type stuff because I don't want.
They're kids.
Yeah, they're kids.
That happened with the role models. I mean,
my favorite comedy.
I mean, Christopher was obviously older, but the younger kid, the little black kid, he was dropping F-bombs every 2 seconds.
Every 2 seconds. But the movie, it's I don't know.
Talking about vagina.
It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder question when she's not in the thick of it because it's like when Jacob Tremblay is like a big actor. He's like he really is a star, and it's like, hey, we got offered this to be with Seth Rogen too. It's to building up his repertoire, and he's really good in it. He's funny in it. And he's so adorable and likable because you believe all this stuff, and the things that these kids just say to each other. It's like it's a story. It's a best friend story. Who's the girl, the Molly Gordon girl? Why do I know her? She's like the basically.
I recognize her as well.
Yeah, so basically these two girls, the kids like get in trouble.
Book smart.
Life of the Party. That's what it was, actually. It was Life of the Party.
She was in I Am Sam? How old is
She must have been super young when she was in that. She's 23 now. But
was she the kid?
I mean,
yeah, she must have been.
No, that was
no way.
Oh, I don't know.
What a fan.
Oh, right. I don't know. Who knows? But it doesn't matter.
2001, the movie.
Yeah, so she was young. But anyway, she's in the movie because it's like the kids get into trouble with these two older girls, and like something happens, and the girls start chasing them, and it's part of the adventure. I was sitting there like saying, "This is actually I got a kick out of the movie. I really enjoyed it."
Has a pretty good Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah,
80-something.
Yeah, I dug it. I started off hesitant. And then I really grew into it, and I it's because I really liked the story. It was a feel good movie, and the kids chemistry was incredible.
The Office creators, Gene Spinsky and Lee.
Yeah, you can tell. It's a good crew. It's a good crew.
Who wouldn't like this movie? Like, you shouldn't go see this movie if.
I think if you're offended easily.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I mean, it's a standard like Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen movie, so if like you don't vibes with those, I'm assuming.
I could see people maybe maybe conservative people saying, I don't want to see young kids talking about sex and cursing and all that. I understand that, but
God, I can't wait for my mom to go see this.
Yeah, but it's you'll really like it.
Yeah, I want it. I've loved every trailer they've put out.
But I'll tell you
what is this blackface controversy on the movie?
What? I don't know. Where's that?
It literally says blackface controversy.
Over the making of the film arose when TMZ leaked photos of Keith L. Williams stand-in and substitute in blackface. Okay, both Williams and his stand-in are African American, but the latter is light skinned.
See, I understand what that's about. Like, they calm down, everybody. Like, it's.
For lighting purposes?
Exactly. That's why you do it. You simply do that just because if the tones don't match, but they're the stand-in that they normally work with, then you just have to do that so the light works.
Right. You're not doing it for.
Why would I mean, I know why TMZ would, but like.
Clickbait all day.
Brutal.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the movie.
TMZ did what they do.
Yeah. The movie's funny.
It's just a movie.
That's right.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. It's just a movie.
It's just a movie. I like that. But anyway, so go and check it out because it's a good comedy, and I haven't really. I laughed. I laughed a lot. That kid.
Man.
Once again. His name, I want to tell you, Keith L. Williams is my favorite part of the whole movie.
Bro, Seth and Evan are on fire. The Boys and Good Boys.
Yeah.
Is he?
They executive produced The Boys too.
I gotta get. my friend.
They do that Garth Ennis connection.
My friend Andy is one of the executives on that show, and I gotta ask her to get us some of that talent in here.
Oh my God.
For The Boys?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
Chase,
I'll reach.
Crawford.
That first episode is phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out.
I can't wait
the
to.
whole
I
season.
can't wait to get into it.
Oh, you've only seen one episode.
I only saw one episode.
my
For
God.
some reason, fiance not digging it.
No.
So
Jack
I gotta
White.
move on.
It's because she thinks it's a superhero show.
She's a little done with the superheroes right now.
It's a corporate show.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's about corporate corruption.
We were watching it, and the ending of that first episode, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I'm like, "Come on!"
She wasn't.
She said, "Let's put on Bachelor in Paradise." So
Well, I mean, you can't
Sorry
do
about that. But sorry about that.
Get her to. I want to say it's episode. Now you got to do the guns at the end. It's this, and then the.
Hey, what?
Get her to. I want to say it's episode 5. They do like a whole.
4.
Is it maybe?
I'm talking about the plane. What are you talking about?
Easy.
Oh, that too.
That's all I said.
But I was gonna say
that's a spoiler?
when the heroes start doing like their little Video America homages.
Oh no! I can already.
She'll love that.
I can feel it.
That was
All right.
crazy.
Oh my God.
Will Forte, by the way, as I look at that picture up there, really reminds me of Ken.
Yeah, where's the picture?
Knapsack?
Yeah.
Looks wise?
Yeah, we've always see if you put Will Forte in a beard.
Yo, he is the nicest dude.
He's a good dude. Yeah,
Holy
we met
crap.
him. We met him once, and look at that, the far right one. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. That one, yes. That reminds me, like if Ken kept growing his beard out, that's Ken. And I remember when we were at Comic-Con, it's probably 4 years ago. Were you with us when we went to the subway? And I convinced that kid, we were all hammered, but I convinced that kid that Ken was Will Forte and he got his autograph.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. We were walking back. Yeah.
That's terrible, man. Come on.
It was hysterical.
This child is going and showing bootleg ass signings.
Child, it was like 24 years old.
You took this poor child. He's showing it all of his friends. This cool ass thing he got signed by Will Forte.
And he got a picture with the fucking pit boss.
I mean, I get it.
What age do you feel like you stopped being a child?
It hasn't happened
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, make your fart noise.
I was gonna say that was the biggest thing everybody was excited about. You came back, it's like, one commenter said like, I was going to take my morning shit, and first thing I hear Kristian being like, and this door was open, blah 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 blah, farts, and like he was like, that's all I want.
We already discovered that he lied about that.
I lied about it. I made it up. It's true. It's true.
It's awkward.
It's true.
See, and that's why y'all can't be yelling at Kristian like that. He did that for you.
They don't let chips on the plane. I can't believe he said he had chips on the plane.
You obviously didn't even go to Hawaii.
That's unbelievable. I believe it was a green screen. I really do. It was a green screen.
You were in your
full
pool in the back.
Shut the fuck up. It's just a plane with the door open.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
All right, what do we got next? So we'll turn these phone lines on in a sec.
Do you want to do news or?
I just said, what do we got next?
Okay.
What do we got next?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we were talking about shit. We were talking about doors and
shit doors.
Well, we could talk about the main title here, which is that Don Williams, Shoes and Beef.
Shoes, beef, and the beef. Shoes, and the beef.
Shoes and the beef.
That's right. Everybody?
No, you're good.
Okay, good. Don Williams was speaking. Don Williams,
nice.
John Williams' brother.
John and Don.
Can you believe that? I did not know John Williams had a brother,
but
let alone that it was Don.
I'm gonna name the first one John.
Don Williams.
And what are you gonna name the second one? I don't know. I'm Don.
What about Lon?
That's the third one.
Don,
and John.
Silver.
Well, Jonathan and Lonathan. Jonathan and Lonathan.
I always think that's amazing.
John and Lon
I
Harris.
call them Lon John Silver.
Yeah. Jonathan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. That's
Don. Long Don. I can't even say it. Don Williams. Fuck it. Thank you. Was speaking at an event.
What did he say?
Score study, and he revealed that 135 minutes of score has been created for The Rise of Skywalker by John Williams. John Williams also said that every single theme from the saga is going to show up in these scores.
35 minutes. How long?
135
So that's
minutes.
what people are speculating now.
So
based off of that.
let's break this down. Our friends over at Slash Film did this, and it's a nice handy dandy. Here we go. Phantom Menace film length 2 hours 13 minutes. Soundtrack 1 hour 14 minutes. It kind of goes on like that. I want to give the last movie, The Last Jedi, 2 hours 32 minutes. Soundtrack length 1 hour and 18 minutes.
Wow.
However, Don Williams did say that this movie, because it's the last movie in the saga, and that every single theme might appear, that he says it's top to bottom of score. So I don't know if this is one of those movies.
And what did you say the time was? He said
130 something.
135 minutes
of score. So that would be the longest one.
That would be the longest one. But as you know, they're
some
probably going to cut.
Drop, right.
Some tracks are going to get dropped. So there might be rearrangements.
Return of the Jedi was a 45-minute soundtrack.
Is it really? Wow.
I believe that this will be the longest film in Star Wars history.
Yep.
Has to be.
I believe it will be 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
We put money on this?
Why do you think
otherwise? You don't want to play this with me.
I'll
do you
do
know
$5 with you.
$5?
Yeah.
For what? What you think it's
I like
gonna be?
this. He doesn't know about your bets.
No.
Yeah.
No, what about him?
I don't.
He's
really
usually
know.
right.
Wait, first just say what you
Which
think
I
it's going
fucking
to be.
hate.
It's fine.
He'll take the bet, and you're like, fuck, he might know something we don't.
It's fine. I mean,
What do you think it's going to be?
I just said 240.
Not you.
I just said 240.
She's yelling at me. I get it.
I'm not yelling. It's the horse.
I would think. I think if It Chapter 2 can be 2 hours and 45 minutes, we can get a 2 hour and 45 minute Star Wars.
I'm gonna go. They're going full endgame on this one. I'm gonna say it's gonna be right around 3. I'll say $3
Give me that
$3
$5.
So
like
you
a-
think
yeah.
240? You think 245? You think
245.
3?
Three and like I'm gonna say 3 hours and 3 minutes.
All right, can we bet $100?
Hell no.
I'll bet you $100.
Get me a job.
Shit, this is
Get
what
me
he
a
does,
job,
dude.
and I'll bet you $100.
$50.
Get me a job, and I will bet you $50.
$25.
Get me a job. I said 5.
Lunch.
Look, bitch, $5.
Lunch at Chick-fil-A.
$5 is what it is?
$5.
All right, look
I'm
forward to
poor.
collecting your $5.
That's fine.
All right.
Shake on it. We got to make this legit here.
Come on,
Here,
$5.
we'll do it.
That's fine.
$5. Thank you.
Is it whatever said? Whoever's closest.
Yeah, whoever's closest.
All right.
So I win.
You said what? 240.
240.
He said 240.
303.
Oh, so
No
this is not
chances,
if you go
303.
over. Okay.
No.
No, this ain't the price is right. Because
Right.
if so, I said $1.
No,
I'm going
if it's
$1.
If it's 304, he definitely wins because I just don't think it's gonna. I mean,
You're right. My argument for that, you're wrapping up 9 movies.
I get
in
it.
Decades.
I understand. I just think people, attention spans are. I mean,
But they made it
I know
through
Endgame.
Endgame.
I know, but Endgame was
It's a
different.
kids movie.
Yeah.
So
What do you got?
Well, I want to ask you this in the Star Wars land. Okay. with every single theme, with him saying every single theme, he also said like kind of blink and you miss it. It like can happen like really fast, and you're like, wait a minute.
It's kind of like what they did in Justice League when you heard Superman's theme.
Right, exactly. Do you think that?
Bummer reference,
like,
but
we talked about this on Rule of Two yesterday. Fernandez was like, nah, they're not. They can't do that.
Can't do what?
Put every single theme in this movie.
Well, they might.
That's what I want to know. I believe that they absolutely can. We can get 3 bars.
He means
the
can't
Imperial.
like I don't want them to, or can't like physically it's impossible.
Physically, he basically is saying no. That's too much.
I don't think he realizes that. Like I said, like if you blink and you miss it for Justice League, like you can hear the John Williams score for Superman.
Hear Batman. You can hear Flash,
and it's in and it's out. You can do the same thing for this.
Kylo Ren is talking to the charred helmet of Darth Vader in Force Awakens. What do you hear? Dun 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 dun.
Right,
and they move on.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like that kind of stuff.
You blow up the Ewok, moon of Endor and shit like that.
But you're dodging the question. What do you think? How long do you think this movie's going to be?
I said 2 hours 45 minutes.
Oh, then why am I still talking to you? What do you think?
2:38.
2:38.
Yeah.
So you have the lowest. I think that you probably have the best shot. That you might be scared of betting right now, but I'm not betting. I'm betting him for $5.
That makes sense.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You can bet him 100. He really wants to do that.
I'm not going to bet. My therapist says I should.
$5. You know what? Go on Fiverr.
Give me that movie back.
I'm poor. Okay.
You're an actor. You're a working actor.
Hey. I would need to be more of a working actor. All right.
You need to be more of a work. You definitely do.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
All right. So let's see. We did the time. We did the runtime.
Yeah.
What's going on? The score. What's next?
Quentin Tarantino has elaborated on his comments and kind of confirmed the stuff with Bruce Lee. He commented on the controversy. You know, the guy who played Bruce Lee in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has said that's not really a proper representation of him. He's too cocky. He's too arrogant. I don't think
the guy who played him said that?
No.
What happened was
the sister.
Of
Bruce Lee.
Yeah, not the guy that played him.
Right.
Bruce Lee's family came out and said
I read that.
they were upset about it.
So this is what he said. This is from Variety, and Tarantino explains that, and this is a quote, "The way he was talking, I didn't just make a lot of that up. I heard him say things like that, to that effect. If people are saying, well, he never said he could beat up Muhammad Ali, well, yeah, he did. Not only did he say that, but his wife, Linda Lee, said that in her first biography I ever read. She absolutely said that. So he's taking stuff from the first biography that Linda Lee wrote, that the research is saying, he's saying otherwise, that this is actually a proper representation of his kind of character.
Yeah.
But then he also goes into why could Brad Pitt essentially beat up Bruce Lee?
Well, he wanted him to win originally, and then Brad Pitt said, "Dude, it's Bruce Lee."
Yeah.
So and it was not.
But he brings up the idea of it's a fictional character that I created in Brad Pitt's character Cliff, and so I'm saying that this guy was a Green Beret. He fought in World War II. He could beat Bruce Lee. Can Brad Pitt beat Bruce Lee? No. Bruce Lee would kick Brad Pitt's ass. So that's what he's saying. It's a fictional character. That's why it happened. Because he's setting up the story for the character.
I don't want to give any spoilers, but clearly this wasn't the only creative liberty that Tarantino took in the film.
Correct.
So I think that with the vibe of the film, he's allowed to make the decisions he wants to make.
Absolutely.
I told you guys when I left the movie that this scene, regardless of Bruce Lee, it didn't sit particularly well with me. For different reasons.
For a lot of people too.
Yeah.
I still need to see it, man. I gotta.
But am I sitting here and saying that was not that Tarantino had bad intentions, or that he was not able to do that and he shouldn't have done that? Absolutely not.
No,
it's
it's a
his
creative
movie
choice.
and
You
it
just didn't
fit
like the
in the
choice.
movie
Right.
that he made.
Right.
Yeah, it just wasn't particularly for me. But as somebody's family member, I also understand why Bruce Lee's sister would be upset about that.
But what she said, though, inside of that same article was she understood why he made the choice that he made, and she get it for what he was doing. It's just it wasn't accurate to the representation of who she knew, which I think is a fair statement. And she's like,
she wants to set the record straight.
She even said, "Do you look at the title of the movie?" And that's what the movie is. So I love the movie. I actually want to go see it again. I can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray. So that's probably when I'll be able to see it again.
Yeah.
What do you got next?
Good. We have Dan Lin, the producer of, you know Dan,
I do.
is the producer of Aladdin, and he said that because this movie has now crossed $1 billion, he said, we never make these movies. I know, here we go, Winston. We never make these movies expecting to have a sequel. We let the audience decide, and this audience has decided that they want more. So they're exploring sequel opportunities for Aladdin, live-action Aladdin.
Please don't.
And they're not talking about Return of Jafar, which was that sequel.
That was
the first direct sequel for a Disney film.
Probably
something original.
The third one,
Prince of Thieves. Yeah.
Is that what they said?
No. There's no comment on what they're doing.
It would probably be something original because Will Smith is on as a producer also. So I think I'm a little biased when it comes to this because my daughters at this point are obsessed with Aladdin, right? And I think that it'll be a fun. I'm looking forward to a sequel because I would like to see the look on my daughter's face when the movie comes out.
I guess there's that. I mean, I really enjoyed this movie, and I don't need a sequel.
Go ahead and take the joy away from his daughters. That's fine.
No, that's fine.
I know where you're coming from though, because it's like it makes me nervous though because there's no content that they're doing that's been established already. And you could say as a fan, well, that's good. Maybe let's see what they do creatively to where they have to come up with their own thing.
Something new.
But you could also hurt the franchise. But I don't know.
That's my concern.
Yeah, I get it.
Do you think then they would make that live action movie and then make an animated version of it down the line?
They haven't done that yet.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
Reverse engineer that.
You guys know, of anybody in this room, I was obsessed with Aladdin, like your daughter's level. I mean, I love this movie. I love Aladdin. I thought they did such a great job. I love the new music. I love the casting. I'm obsessed with Mina Masood. Oh my God, just like I can't even.
Were you here for?
Yeah, I was here, Kristian.
Okay. I don't know.
I was here.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I was here. So I think I was here, Kristian.
Were you here?
I believe I was here. Yeah. I think that it 100% depends on the story. I think Aladdin actually lends itself for a story that might be able to have a sequel. It's not like other movies where I'm like, oh, where do you go from here?
You could, yeah.
I think there's a lot of different places we could explore or go and what happens next.
Who's got the powers, though? We don't know
who's got the powers. It's an interesting question, though.
But if it's not good, then it's not good.
The only reason I'm hesitant is because I jokingly was on Twitter talking about I love the movie. To me, this was Hitch to Arabian Nights, and so like my issue is because if you think about it, it's the exact same kind of plot line where like the Will Smith, the genie, the whatever dating guy is like, bro, just be you. I'm gonna show you some things.
It's a
like whatever.
Hitch is a great movie.
Hitch is incredible. I love both of these movies.
I want a Hitch too.
But to that, you got one. It's called Aladdin,
and it was great.
And it was wonderful.
I want a Hitch 3.
Wait a minute. I just thought of something that we have never followed up on the show, and I don't like to do that. There are angles that are brought up on this show, could be months, but
let me see if I know what you're talking about.
See if you know where I'm going with this one.
Something with Hitch?
No.
Something with Will Smith?
Nope.
Farts?
You were supposed to do something. You promised us you were going to do something.
Oh my God! God damn it! Yes, I haven't seen it yet. I'm sorry.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know.
The Rover.
Yeah.
You're supposed to watch the Rover.
Oh,
Robert
yeah,
Pattinson. So we can have a discussion.
It wasn't the Rover. It was
Good Times?
You told me
Good
you
Times.
took Good Times.
I think the Rover is the one that you should watch.
Okay.
That's the one I said. But
no, you're right. I'm supposed to. There's so much content in the world.
Yeah, but
what made you just think
you're
of
right.
that?
Because he was talking about something, and I was like, well, I really in my head I'm going to agree with that point. And I wonder, wait a minute, we never got into the discussion because he said he tweeted something out, and I was like, yeah, but he said he tweeted something out, but he never had a chance to watch Pattinson.
You know what? Look, this is what I was going to do. I was going to leave today, and I was just going to because I don't have anything on the. I'm not.
All right.
I don't have anything on the docket. I was going to go watch across the street and go watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Nice.
Maybe I will go home and watch Rover instead.
I like that.
No, you should
go see
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because it's worth seeing in theaters.
But if he goes home and watches the Rover,
how long is it?
Can you do both?
Because
what's the runtime on the Rover? And I'll tell you why you should watch the Rover instead.
I think probably
is it on Amazon?
148.
Because I know Good Times is Good Time.
Hour 48.
Let's see. Can you put the Rover runtime, please? Rover runtime is not coming up.
I think the internet's down.
Oh shit!
Does that mean our stream's still up?
I have no idea.
No, we're good. We're on a separate thing. I'll look it up on my
But Winston, the reason why I say I think it would be good if you watched it, because then we can have because you're on tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we could have a pretty good discussion about it tomorrow, because I'm very curious, because I know how much of a comic book movie fan, especially a Batman fan you are.
Yeah.
And you, to me, represent a lot of the people who originally heard Robert Pattinson and thought Twilight. So I would like to see.
Okay.
I want to see if you see that movie and you go, this guy's got the chops, or you go, no, I'm still not convinced yet.
He's got the look.
And then we can talk about it tomorrow.
I got it here. It's 1 hour and 42 minutes.
There you go.
And it's on Amazon Prime. So you're saying that over Good Time?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think Good Time over that.
Here's why I
I'm
tell
with
you.
Good Time.
I understand what you're saying for performance wise. I think you're going to prefer Good Time to the Rover.
Here's the reason why I would tell you again for not, because I don't want you to because Good Time is tough to watch, and it's emotionally draining. I don't think that the Rover is as much draining, and I actually think personal taste wise you'll enjoy the Rover better.
There's just a lot to do today, because the reason why I asked is because I'm probably still going to find a way to go see Once Upon a Time. I got to go play dodgeball, and then it's Bachelor in Paradise night 2.
Oh wow,
So I
there's
just
so
have
much to
it's a
do
lot,
today.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to work 7 more jobs. Enjoy yourself.
I mean,
screening.
I mean, I'm still.
actually going to a premiere.
I mean, I was going to say I still have work to do in between all of that.
When's
so
he
like
going?
it's
What premiere is it?
47 meters down.
Oh,
nice.
Well, that's
Good show.
fun.
47 meters down Uncaged. I think is what it's called. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's
and I already saw it, and I can't talk about it.
How does Nicolas Cage not have a documentary called Uncaged?
I mean, he does have a YouTube video of all of his best screaming. Have you not seen that?
That's amazing.
Oh, it's the greatest. It's called Cage and Rage.
Oh, really?
And it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Did you read that article that he did? No. That interview? I can't remember, but he started talking about how he literally went searching for the Holy Grail.
Good.
And realized that it's Earth.
I love him.
No,
I love him
it's
so much. I love him.
right.
We should have asked his son if he agreed.
Beautiful.
The bees! The bees!
Oh,
it's just
Ethan Irwin and I watched that. When
The Wicker Man?
Well, not the Wicker Man, but that particular scene. It's when the internet, because I was at Silver when YouTube popped, right? It was like 2005, 2006. And I remember Ethan just laughing, and he runs over to my desk and he goes, watch this. And the two of us, I don't know, if somebody clipped out. It was when clips started really popping on YouTube. And it was the Wicker Man, and the two of us just sat by my desk crying, laughing at the bees. The bees.
It's great,
bro. Well, the Cage and Rage includes the bees. It includes him running around in a bear suit, just hitting somebody in the face with the bat.
That's the
like
best.
it's.
Have you seen the clips for the? You've never seen the clips?
probably,
for the
but I
Wicker
don't.
Man?
I don't. Well, Wicker Man. Yes,
Yeah, that's it. That's from the
Cage
movie.
and Rage. I'll find it.
That's from that movie. Anyway, look.
Forgot.
Don't know what it is, but that's great. Is that Cage?
The Joker's wild!
What's that from, Cody?
Wait.
Well, hallelujah, man! The Joker's wild!
The Joker's wild. Oh, is that from?
Show me the Joker.
Did you do that for Nerdist?
No,
like,
is it from
Face Off?
Is that Face Off?
Just show me the fucking Joker.
What is that, Cody?
It's from the movie Deadfall.
Oh, I've seen it. It's great.
No, vive la fucking France!
Do you guys realize that there's four days until Cody has a kid?
I know.
Don't bring it up.
Do you also realize that yesterday I heard Cody refer to his kid as...
Nope.
Okay. Nope.
I'll just give you this hint. It's the name of a
Wait,
movie
Cody,
coming
that's
out, a sequel to a movie.
Wait, Cody, I gotta tell you something.
That's a horror movie.
Cody, you did your first dad thing just now.
Got 2 letters in
You
it.
keep my kid's name out your motherfucking mouth.
No. That is a dad thing. Okay, look, before we move on, because I want to turn the phone lines on here. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna turn the phone lines on and have you guys call in. We'll talk to you guys before we sign off for today. But I will say that I released a special for the Shire Wolves. I sat down with both with the reigning team champions Clark Wolf and Rachel Cushing. We talked a lot about their past accomplishments in the Schmodown and some things that are coming up. So it is very important for things that are going to be going on, especially if you're a patron to the Movie Trivia Schmodown. You should absolutely go watch that special. It's on there now. They say some really amazing things, and just in general for what both Clark and Rachel had done for the evolution and growth of the league. It's a good special, and I was proud of it. So please go and check it out.
What matches have aired and what matches are coming up?
The match that just aired last week was a triple threat Intergeekdom match between Chandru and the Warfather and David Moore. And then this week we have, what do we have this week? This week is going to be another Intergeekdom match between Emily Jacobson.
Yeah.
Emily Jacobson will also be playing up against not John Cena, Brandon Hanna.
Damn it.
And Shazam. The team of William Bibiani and the Kid go up against Haley Fouch and Kaylin Corrigan of the Scream Queens. So some good stuff because the tournaments are about to start taking off like really soon because I think it's next week, the following week, got Bateman versus Kalinowski, and then the winner of that will play Snyder, and then the winner of that will go to New York to play Paul Oyama. And I wonder who you're picking to win. It's so funny that you have there's something going on with all three of those people. It's crazy.
Crazy. I have direct ties to all 3 of those people very much so.
It's nuts. What are the emotions like when you see first of all, like Bateman plays Kalinowski.
So that I got during the during what people keep asking me, who do I want to win, Bateman or Kalinowski?
Yeah, she used to manage Kalinowski.
I feel really torn. First of all, I hope they both lose. But if one of them has to win, because that's the way the game works, It's hard. Mike was such a dick the way that he left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the league. Yeah.
he was just such a dick. And so I have issues with that. And then also, he's just the biggest heel. Watching him is so frustrating.
Yeah, especially because he's successful right now.
Yeah.
He's doing very well. Mikey
he's doing
Three
very, very well.
Just watching Thanos.
He's really good.
Rampage.
He is Thanos.
He's really good. And we host a weekly show together, too. So I have all the feelings of that. Then Ben, obviously, A, being my ex.
Right.
B, being the least capable face I've ever seen in my life. Like, he is not capable of being a face.
I think he's been doing a pretty good job as a good guy.
Oh, my God.
You don't believe
Kristian,
it. You don't buy it.
I mean, you'd have to be blind.
Wow.
So,
All right.
I don't know. I think that Snyder would have an easier time beating Ben.
Okay.
So that's how I'm making my decision. That I hope
picking Ben. So
yeah, I think he'd have an easier time beating Ben.
Cody's telling us we have a phone call. We're going to go to the lines. Hey, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
Hey, it's Brandon from LA by way of DC.
What's up, man? What do you got going for us today?
I have a question I've been wanting to ask you, Kristian, about wrestling, okay?
Yes.
I was into wrestling when I was younger. People in DC were, like, really into it. I think I kind of started to hate it because when I walk into the classroom, I get, like, suplex and stuff.
That's a good reason to hate it.
Yeah, I was wondering, what would you think if they switched it up where they have, like, different wrestling styles, like people in regions, kind of like basketball teams and football teams, and they would like you have like lucha libres and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you would see which fighting styles would win over the other or whatever. That would, to me, that would make it more interesting because you would have different backgrounds and different styles coming together and.
Well, I don't think you could do that in the WWE because WWE has now just kind of gone completely more about the show itself, and I think they've gone more of the entertainment more than it's been the sport. And a lot of people don't necessarily like that they've done that, but it's worked for them on the overall kind of. And we had Kurt Angle on the show, and he even talked about the fact that it's a public company, and there's just so much that you have to do. I think the smaller federations have a chance to do something like that, and because of the internet and because of the way you can kind of build out. I mean, look at something like what Booker T, our buddy over, is doing over at Reality of Wrestling. They have, it's kind of traditional, old school, but they're able to focus on story and do kind of things that you're talking about as well. But I think that there's always ways to switch it up. It's just I don't know if the WWE per se would be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely still be, entertainment. It would definitely be that. Like, it wouldn't be like UFC, but I don't know. I just thought that would be cool to have some lucha libres up in there, like, fighting. Anyway.
I got a quick question for you, Brandon.
Yeah.
You said LA way of DC. Are you a brother, first of all?
Yeah.
He is.
Yes, sir.
I kind of tell, but just one double check.
Ask him the second question.
I'm gonna ask you.
No chance.
Did you watch Bachelor in Paradise yet?
I knew you were gonna ask me that, and no.
Come on, man.
Almost.
Jesus.
Almost.
One
for
time,
two.
One time,
two.
Lord. Just one time. Just one brother, please.
Call back again, and then this time you watch it. But 1 for 2. All right, thanks, man. Appreciate the call. Cody, let me know when we get another one in here. You think we're gonna find the unicorn?
Yes.
I might be it. I might be the last unicorn, bro.
You are the last unicorn.
I don't know. I think we'll find somebody.
We'll find somebody.
Yeah. Not to take Tiffany Haddish's thing. I know that's her. That's her whole.
Bachelor in Paradise?
No. Oh. She calls herself the last the last black unicorn, I think, or something like that. They did like a whole sketch on SNL. It's pretty funny.
Okay. Okay. We got somebody else calling in, Code. All right. Hey, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
Hey, man, this is Brandon from Springfield.
What's up, Brandon? How you doing, man? What do you got for us today?
Good, man. I had a question for you. So there was somebody put out a question on Twitter earlier yesterday that asked, who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of sports movie characters?
Oh, man. Good question. All right.
So 4 people that you would think.
All right, I'll tell you. This is just top of my head because I need a little more time to think about it. But if I top of my head, I put Rocky. I put.
Could any of them be based on real people? Like Muhammad Ali has been in movies.
Like Will Smith and Ali.
Yeah.
I'll let this guy ask the question. But are you talking fictional or in general? Like Will Smith is Ali?
I think fictional characters.
Okay, fine.
Right now.
All right. So I go Rocky.
Yeah.
I go Ricky Vaughn.
Yep.
From
Wild Thing.
I go Roy Hobbs from The
Roy
Natural.
Hobbs, yeah, from The Natural.
And then I would go, for my last one.
White Goodman from Dodgeball.
It's a good one. I'm sure Winston would take that. Let's see, my last one.
Nah, White's trash.
Let me see.
Johnny Lawrence.
Okay, let me think. My last one is you guys asked. What about? I would go Chevy Chase from Caddyshack. No, I got to think of one more. Let me think of one more.
I got mine.
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Happy Gilmore.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
throw him in there. I would take LaFleur from Dodgeball. What's his name? Vince Vaughn's character.
Okay.
I would take Rocky, honestly, and then I forgot my last one.
Oh, I got one.
It's okay. Go ahead.
I got one
'Cause I forgot mine.
from Warrior. What's it? Not Tom Hardy, his brother.
Joel Edgerton.
Joel
yeah.
Edgerton from Warrior. Yeah, I think he's kind of a Rocky
amazing.
character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's incredible. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Jaden
sports movie.
Smith's Karate Kid.
Do you want to know?
I mean, the Kung Fu Kid? The Kung Fu Kid.
Make $20. Yeah.
$5.
You keep saying that. Although I don't hate that movie, but you're talking about unnecessary remake.
I know.
But I don't hate that movie.
It's not bad.
No. All right. So you got 4?
I can't pick a fourth,
E.T.
but it's E.T. Rocky for sure, and God, what was the other one? Rick Vaughn.
What about Creed?
And I was thinking
Creed
Creed.
could be good, too.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking actually Creed and Rocky on there.
You got 4?
I have no answers, but what I will say is this has proved that we need more women sports movies.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
True.
shit.
True.
Yeah.
True.
I'm like
True.
looking at these all-time lists. The only one on here being Hilary Swank.
Oh yeah, $1 Million
but-
Baby.
Oh.
There's just
Good
such a
enough, though.
there's just such a lack. That's crazy.
No, I agree.
Well, I'll put $1 Million Baby on there. Hilary Swank. That's a fucking
most
great
of them are true
movie.
stories too.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have maybe taken Paige from Fighting with My
Story,
Family.
Yeah, that was
but,
great.
Yeah,
That was
but
great.
I'll replace. Oh, my bad. I will replace the last one I said with Ricky Bobby. I'll take Jaden Smith out and put Ricky Bobby.
That's good. All right. Thank you for the question, and thank you. Hey, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
Good talk.
Hey, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got? Good talk. Okay, cool.
No one's there.
All right, I'm about to do it again.
We don't know that. Maybe they're just
Try
shy.
it again. Hey, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
This is James from Georgia.
Hey, James from Georgia. What do you got for us today?
Basically, I was just going to ask Kristian about Knights of the Old Republic, where he would start and what he would contain in the first movie.
It's a good question. Thank you for the question. You know, I don't want to spoil it now at this point because I know it's the movie itself, the game itself is 16 years old. But what I would do is I would definitely start where the game starts off. And for those people, I always say for that particular story, you got to look at it like a book. If you've read the book before, then yeah, you know, like if you read the Harry Potter books, you know a lot what's going to happen. But the question is, how do you execute it on film? So, like for me, I would know what's happening, but I don't believe.
So you really don't want to spoil it because I would love to know
Knights of the Republic.
How it starts off.
Well, it
that you're
starts
saying.
off the character yourself. You wake up and you're on the ship. It's not that necessarily that. So you wake up and you just don't know you don't just know what's going on, right? And you do have, I guess, former amnesia, and then they tell you that we got to get off this ship because it's being attacked. So if it started off with this character just kind of in a daze, and then it's being bombarded, and they go down on this planet and this other planet. It's before like
Who's the character?
This I forget the character's main name. You can kind of name it. You can name the character.
Yeah, but what are you picturing? Like, cast me somebody or.
I mean, you really, because of the way the game's set up, it could be anyone.
Really?
Yeah.
It really could be anyone.
Yeah.
So,
Man, woman, black, white,
could be anyone.
anything.
Because you literally design your character. So
yeah,
it can be.
You can pick a woman to play. You can be anyone. But if the way that it comes out, if it started that way, and then they get to the planet, things happen, and the mystery of the character starts to happen, the relationships between those particular characters, and that you have to have the ending, the twist, because I've said it a billion times
Twist
over,
is incredible.
and I'll say it again. Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars story of all time. Knights of the Republic is my second favorite Star Wars story of all time. So
I want to know what happened.
So good.
I
You'll
can
tell me
tell
off
you
air,
off
yeah.
air. Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for people. If you have
Will
somebody
I
cool
get
play
it?
Yeah, you'll get it for sure. Because I remember playing it, and when the
Oh
twist happened,
my God.
I went, wait, what?
And then and then deciding what to do after you find out the twist.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
wait,
God.
what?
It doesn't
Do you remember?
contradict anything from.
No, it takes place like 2,000-3,000 years before Episode 4, something like that. Maybe even 4,000 years.
You had told me you're like, play this game.
You played
and
it,
I
right?
played it, and I remember
It's on-
calling you.
Oh, right.
People,
Like,
people
with the
still
twist.
should. It's on.
Whoa.
Whoa.
What happened?
It's on Steam for like $10. So like if you have a computer, you should 100% play that game.
I'm still waiting to see what the hell because we don't know, by the way, if it's rumor or not that they are actually doing Knights of the Republic, or if they're doing something in the Republic, or if they're doing anything in the past at all. There's no news on it yet. So.
The report says they're going to adapt the game, but we don't know. We don't know how close.
But that report hasn't been verified.
That's true.
So we don't know.
You want to ask him your question? You've been asking everybody.
Oh, he doesn't sound black. Are you black?
I already hung up on him.
Yeah, that's because Cody did it for me. He wasn't black, right?
He knows.
Yeah.
How do we know?
He knows. Cody knows everything.
You have a sixth sense for it.
Every black person is aware when another black person is in the room.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, yesterday you
it's
didn't.
The Shining.
Yesterday
and
you
we call
didn't
that
No, he told me he knew.
The blackening.
He knew you got.
You want to get sued?
Wait, Winston, you knew that you got duped yesterday by that guy?
Yeah. No, I know. I wanted to. Because he's Canadian, I tried to maybe give him a chance, but you can almost always tell. Even a white-sounding black dude, you can tell.
Right.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
That's so crazy to me to hear that. There's no way.
There's exceptions, but
yeah, of course. I mean, just like white people, just like all people, everybody has different accents, voices, places they grew up, how they speak. You're telling me you always know.
More or less, yeah.
But
what?
You know, as a white,
you know why? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because all black people know how to code switch. A lot of minorities in general do, but like black people, like, do you know what code switching is?
I'm just saying, there's a white guy that I know. This
code
office,
switching passing.
Sort of, yes.
Okay.
I'm just saying, there's a white guy in this office that when you hear him speak, you might think he's black.
Okay.
Coy Jandrew. I'm just kidding. Coy will be on the show on Thursday, though. I thought it was a nice transition.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's ever thought that.
That was the joke. All right, who's on next? We are taking calls from Collider Live. Who do we got?
Hi, this is Jacob from Colorado once again.
Don't even ask.
That's what I tried to see.
Yeah. What do you got for us today?
How do you know?
I was wondering what movie universe would you guys pick to live in? Like me personally would be Inception.
I feel like we've had this question before.
That's good. Yeah.
Are you black?
No.
Jeez.
I want to know.
No, it's the easiest thing. You would lose so much money.
Why? I can't.
If there was thousands of dollars on the line, and you lost 1,000 every time you asked a question, so go ahead.
Then I wouldn't need a job.
No, caller, go ahead and answer that question, please.
We lost.
He's still there? He got nervous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's there. No, I'm here.
Did you hear the question?
I did not.
Okay.
Are you African American, sir?
No.
Okay. So Roxy lost a lot of money.
I didn't lose any money. I don't know how you guys know this.
I know. I don't. They may or may not, but I know. What?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, universes that we want to live in.
Okay, universes. This poor guy is just like, I just wanted to ask a nice question. You guys are fucking around with me.
What?
I think that Caddyshack.
Really?
I would like to live in Caddyshack.
But are you talking about interacting with the characters?
Yes.
Or are you okay?
100%.
Because are you just?
Do you want to be a caddy or do you want to be like Ty?
I feel like when you answer this question, you have to think about, Kristian, that you could have just picked like Hawaii.
You know what? I don't
like,
have to think about any of it because it's not real. But I would take Caddyshack because I want to prove that the first one is better, and I would live there and smoke a joint with Gopher.
Specifically, in Wakanda. Like, not forget just the MCU. I want to live in Wakanda.
Forever?
Yeah. Have you seen their schools?
Did you not get my question?
Forever?
Wakanda forever.
Oh, I hate you.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Wow, you went dark.
I hate. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, this took such a turn. It took such a turn.
It's a fucking horse. How about you? This is the life itself?
I mean, no. I can't. I don't think you can base it on the characters because they could hate me and never want to spend time with me. So, like, wherever is an island with warm weather.
Boogie Nights count?
Boogie Nights count. That's the universe you want to live in?
I don't know.
No way you want to live there.
I want to.
You want to introduce your daughters to Boogie Nights?
No, I'm not bringing them.
You're going by yourself?
That's what he asked. He didn't ask my family if they were going to go. This is a one-time invite. Last Action Hero?
I want to hang out in Zamumba I want to go to Coming to America.
Coming to America, I was thinking about that too.
The royal penis is clean. All right, let's. Thank you for the phone
Oh my
call.
God! Speaking of
What?
penises,
What happened
did you
now?
guys see Burt Kreischer's fucking balls?
No, why?
Oh yeah,
You're
from
missing
Whitney
this
Cummings?
story.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, we gotta
Oh,
pause
no.
the calls. I
Yeah.
gotta tell you what happened. Can
Please,
I
is
do
this-
that?
Is this bad on
no,
Burt?
No,
He's Burt's
no,
friend.
no.
Okay.
Burt did an amazing
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
He did an amazing
Okay.
thing. Disgusting, but
Okay.
amazing. Hashtag I stand with Whitney was trending yesterday. Whitney Cummings had somebody. She on accident Instagram storied months ago a picture of her nipple. She was
Yeah.
in the shower. She didn't know she was storing. It was a picture of her like scrubbing and her nipple, whatever. She took it down immediately. People had screenshotted it. Then they were blackmailing her and trying to get her to pay them for them not to repost that picture. She said, "Suck my dick. I'm going to post the picture myself because I'm not dealing with your extortion." Kind of Belle Thorne did.
Yeah, sure.
She posted the picture yesterday, and Burt, in response, said, "I hate what these dorks are doing to you. Here's a picture of my balls after I got in an accident," and just posted a massive,
There's
just
a
only his
bump
balls.
on his balls,
with a
and it
bump
looks
on his
fucking
balls.
painful.
His balls are like black and blue with this like. It was
Yeah, God.
oh.
You know, I went to
and
Florida
then
State with him.
everyone started.
really?
Wow. Everyone started posting pictures of their balls. It was.
Yeah.
You know how yesterday I said, "Don't send me unsolicited dick pics. If it's for this purpose, I'm
get
okay."
it.
I was okay with everybody posting their
Understood.
balls. It was amazing because then the whole internet, instead of being Whitney Cummings' nipple,
It was
were
about his
all,
balls. All
not
right,
just his, everyone's
so,
balls.
follow that caller.
Yep. Go ahead.
Hello, caller.
My name is John Paul Jones.
Oh my God!
How good
yes.
is that guy? That's
Yeah.
like that's not a soundbite. That's actually that. This is the dude who's done it before. Have you heard him do his John
No,
Paul?
I haven't.
Can you do it again for
Finish it
Winston,
out.
who's a fan?
My name is John Paul Jones.
I mean, that's
My friend call me John Paul Jones. And you can call me John Paul Jones.
That's not
That's
bad,
good.
man.
It's
That's
really good.
not bad.
He even toned it down a little bit today because when you go a little deeper, he sounds
So
just like him. What do you got for us today, my friend?
It's actually my first time calling in. But
No.
Oh, wait, is that
You're
new
not our
John
John
Paul
Paul Jones dude.
There are
No,
so many John Paul
Wow,
Joneses.
good John Paul Joneses.
Damn.
Now I got to work on my John Paul Jones radar. My Black Dar is fine, but now I got to work on my John Paul
Your
Jones.
Black Dar.
He's not.
Okay.
I promise. I promise he's not.
Yeah,
It's a new thing for Roxy now.
All right, let the guy ask his question.
First off, question just about Star Wars, what you guys were talking about with the runtime. Also, I love the New Republic or the Knights of the Old Republic storyline, one of the best Star Wars stories. But just for the runtime of Episode 9, like, I mean, for me, I feel like kind of a Star Wars shill because even no matter how good or bad it is, I want it to be as long as possible just because it's the last of the Skywalker stuff that we're going to see. But is that wrong? I mean, do you guys feel that? I mean, what do you guys want to see? I know you guys said what you think will happen, but what do you want?
I think it gets to a point where it's look, when we brought up Endgame before, right? Endgame needed to be that long because of everything that was set up from Iron Man all the way through and all of the characters that were in it. You don't need to make a movie 3 hours long just because it's the last one.
I get it.
It needs to fit. So if it fits, then I'm cool with it being 3 hours. If it's 2 hours long and it fits, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I mean, what I want is for it to be 3 hours and 3 minutes so I can win $5. But I mean, if you want to give me 20, cool, and I'll give you 5 if I lose. If that's how this works. But I mean, I
Bad
agree
odds.
with.
I think they have a lot to.
But that's the thing
to wrap up.
That's
so I think 3 hours.
You think
we
so?
need. Oh yeah.
You
I
think he's going to win?
I don't know. I don't think. I think he could win.
$100?
No, I'm not fucking betting you. I think he could win. I think 2 hours and 45 minutes is kind of where I'm landing, to be honest with you.
I get you don't have 21 movies prior to it, but these 8 are so rich, including everything that's come along. I think you can easily make this.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was 3 hours.
And what they set up, there's a lot to, like, I don't know how they're going to address a lot of these things, but 3 hours, a lot of time to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the phone call. And we'll get another one. We got call.
We got time.
2 or 3 more times. Hey, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
Hey, how you doing now? You know.
How you doing now? You know, nice to see you now. You know, you're sitting in the bus now. You know, talking to my friend now. You know,
not doing voice.
Roxy.
Yeah, you don't remember what that is? Were you on for that one?
I was.
No, Roxy's wondering
She
something
wants to
else.
know, but I need to hear him not do a voice.
Well, you're not going to
first.
get it from the Charles impression. He was doing Now You Know.
Now you
I want to hear him talk.
He's going to do Now You Know. Please, hello, Charles. What do you got for us today?
Well,
My name is John Paul Jones.
Is this the same
My
guy?
friends call me John Paul Jones.
That one's a little better.
But you can call me John Paul Jones.
Are you our original or are you brand new?
No, the last one was not
I'm
good.
the original.
You are
There it is.
The last part. You got to work on the last part. The third sentence.
He's still pretty good. What do you got for us today? Now you know.
Well, first of all, I just got to say hashtag Collider Cannabis, hashtag Collider Kush.
Cool, cool. I feel you, man.
Definitely not.
Everybody looked at me. That one's for you, Rox.
He's looking for you. Saying smoking a joint. Now you know.
How you doing now? You know.
I love that. Now you know.
What is this? I missed this.
I did too.
It made a resurgence. It's a longer story to tell you. I'll tell you afterwards, but it's just basically this thing that happened in high school that I brought back when I first moved to Los Angeles that I told the story about, and it's talking about my friends now. You know. All right. So what do you got?
That's really it, Roxy.
Really,
That's
sitting
it.
on the bus. Now you know. Now you know. I'm talking to my friends. Now you know. Now you know. All right. What do you got? What do you got for us today? Now you know.
Just one last thing. I just got to get this off my chest.
Sure.
Gosh, I love movies.
Oh, man.
I love watching movies, and I love making movies.
This kid's good.
It's really good.
It's good. All right, you're doing well for yourself. All right, keep
well done. I'm very proud of you. Definitely do that again.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you didn't know I could do that?
Fucking keep talking.
No, of course.
Oh, my God.
What? If audio only. You probably thought Barack just walked in here. But, you know, it's just me. It's just me.
That's great impression, you know.
Holy shit, man.
That was really good.
Talking
got
to Barack
excited.
Obama, now you know.
Damn, that's really good.
You're looking full.
All right, thank you for the phone call and getting us to do that. Yes.
Now you
What's
know.
wrong,
Now you
Roxy?
know.
Looks
I'm
disheveled.
sad we wore out all the vagina in one day.
Oh, what do you expect?
Yeah, I know.
Let's get the next call, Cody. Thank you. Hey, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
Hey, this is Jacob from Los Angeles.
Jacob from Los Angeles.
But
What's
that's
up, man?
not where you're from. You must be from New York.
No. What do you got for us today?
No, I got about two questions. One's for Roxy.
Roxy.
About the whole neighbor situation.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the deal with her car? Does she ever actually drive her car out of
The neighbor.
Does she ever move her car?
Sometimes, but she's a student and it's summertime,
Move your
so
car,
she
neighbor.
leaves for 2 weeks at a time and stuff.
Wow.
Well,
And leaves
should
the
just
car?
take a bus.
Yeah. She needs to,
She
again,
should just take up. She
pull
doesn't
back.
need a. She doesn't need a fucking car.
No.
Sell your car.
That is definitely a
That's true.
solution.
All right,
Sell your car.
what's your second question?
Okay. The other one is I just noticed that the Angry Birds movie 2 is currently the highest reviewed video game movie of all time, beating Sex Pikachu
Oh my God,
in
it's
its same year, and nobody seems to be talking about it.
Right.
Did it come
It
out
was
already?
in the high 80s for a while, and now it's in the 70s, but it's pretty much rested in the 70s.
Oh, it comes
Fake
out
news.
this week.
Fake news.
Fake news. Cody says fake news. Let's see.
I refuse.
Well, let's see. It's 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. What's Pikachu? Which, by the way, you got that copy that I
like
gave you, Pikachu,
68.
Cody? You never
I
said
did.
anything
Thank you
about
very
it.
much.
All right. What is it? 68? They're both at 68?
No, 72.
72 is the first. Oh, yeah,
Shit.
Cody. Sorry, buddy. You lose here.
Fake news.
Right now, Angry Birds 2 is 73%. Comes out this weekend.
I completely forgot it's technically a video game movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they just took over all of the.
It's an app. It's an app movie,
Yeah.
basically. Well,
Love
there you
that.
go.
Strange.
I played that.
Well, I don't know. You know,
I never saw it.
I haven't seen it. The
didn't see it
only
either.
thing I got a chance to see. Did you go to see The Kitchen?
Yes, I did.
Did you like it?
Yes, I did.
Okay, it's 22% on the.
Yeah, I
on the-
know.
Oh, you liked
I
it?
know.
Oh,
Yeah, I
good.
really liked it.
Okay.
I really liked
I
it.
didn't
Yeah,
see
I
it.
heard.
Everybody I
not
saw it
good
with
things.
liked it. I would understand why somebody didn't. The first act is a disaster.
Oh, okay.
But
You
the
got
women
past
are
that.
awesome. Yeah, and then I moved forward, and it's very comic booky. Some of the dialogue is like, woof,
Yeah.
like pulled straight from. So doesn't translate as much, but I really enjoyed myself.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do one more call and we'll get the hell out of here. Hey, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got? Who do we got?
This is Jared from Vacaville calling in again.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
It's going good. So I have a question for you, Kristian.
Sure.
You have said many times that you think that it's very clear that Kylo Ren is going to be having a face turn in Episode 9, just like Darth Vader. And I personally disagree. Just like Vader had his opportunity in Episode 6 to turn back to the light by saving his son Luke and then doing it, I see Kylo as having his opportunity in 8 when he could have joined Rey in helping save the Resistance and not blowing up all the ships, but he decided to stick with the dark. And so what is your reasoning as to being so certain that he's going to be turning to the light when I think he made his decision by deciding to rule the First Order?
First of all, let me tell you that I couldn't agree with you more on your reasoning of why, and that's why I believe that it should stick, because he was given his chance, and it is time to. That's it. Remember, J.J. Abrams did not direct that movie that you're talking about. J.J. Abrams, I don't believe, had that intention for him to do that in that second movie. So I think that J.J. is a big fan of the original movies. I think that for this particular lineage of the Skywalkers, he really is, him and Leia are the last of their kind. And I think that it's going to all wrap up one way or another, and he was battling with the light, and I think because of the way that JJ wants to do it at the very end, because of the connection that he and Rey have, that the darkness did win over in the second one, but I think that she's going to win over him in this new one. And that's what's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. I think it's completely predictable, and I think it's going to be like a very easy way to do it. And I think that they want people walking out going, he came back. And I just think that it's going to be, one of those things I'm not going to be happy with, but I'll live with it.
Kristian, don't you think that people are allowed to make the decision in their own time at times, though? Like, yes, he was given the opportunity and he didn't choose that, but that doesn't mean he never would choose that?
No, it doesn't mean that he wouldn't. It's just that as an audience member, I'm not saying as a character choice that he might not do it. I'm just saying as an audience member,
you don't prefer it.
I just watched him kill Han Solo, which is hard for me to come back on, right?
Yeah.
Then I watched him try to kill Luke Skywalker with 100 AT-ATs. Right, or even more, whatever it was, and then he tried to stab him, then he tried to kill him, and then he was taking over power, and then it's like he's done all these things, and people can come back and say, well, Vader did all these things, he killed children, he did this, but he came back. Yeah, but it was one particular opportunity at the very end, and I saw it already. And it's like if someone had already done it before Vader and then they did it again for Vader, it's like we saw that already.
But I also would make. I know that he's connected to Rey, but I feel like the connection between Darth Vader and Luke is clearly different than Kylo and anybody else, and I think that that's an easier thing for a father in that regard to be like, that's my kid, and like dig deep than like
even more so.
What's anchoring him?
I agree with you, and that's why I don't want it to happen. I think that it would be much better like if you were going to turn if Leia.
It's Leia.
If
Leia's key.
If Leia turns him around, it's going to make sense because of Episode 8 when he's in the fighter and he doesn't do it. Yeah. That's the one point where you see like legit doesn't do it. Yeah. So I think that it's still going to happen. It depends on how it's executed. I'm not going to go like, oh man, they did it. But I just think I think you can see it. It's predictable.
What do we know about Leia in 9?
Not a lot.
But unfortunately, we have to get going. That's the show, everybody. Thank you for calling in today. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for Winston for being here today. He's going to go home and watch the Rover. You got Mark Reilly, Roxy Striar, hey Alex, Cody Hall, the whole crew here. We'll be back tomorrow talking about a whole bunch of things. Make sure you go on over to theschmodownlive.com. Almost 400 tickets, or a little over 400 for New York right now. Get those tickets. We're going to be on the East Coast. It's going to be August 31st. Get your tickets. Orlando, that's coming up. There it is. On October, and Arizona. Get all your tickets now because we only have 4 shows left this year. All right, guys. Talk to you later.